elimination of both EDG and NIP as well at this point. I believe guaranteed themselves regionals at the very least, so see exactly how this storied matchup plays out one more time. To the riff we go. Crowds have the next say.
敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎。
破坏。
Done. Maybe about to phase check a little there. Takes default hex. Not too much more. We're looking for a bit more of a concerted look in here. 3v3 possibility.
Quite dangerous to walk up like this. I think that actually the Aurora at level 1 actually has very good value. You can see that JDG, they abandon an invade attempt. They do get the ward down though, and I suppose that's value. That is something worth getting. Tien on the bot side will be starting on his blue buff, and I think Tien is actually had a very good start to the playoffs. And when Weibo knocked anyone's legend down to the lower bracket, a lot of it was because Tien did so well against Tarzan in that matchup of play, which of course we respect an awful lot as JDG are very much not winning the fan vote.
No, they are not.
Jeez, what did JDG do to deserve that? Well,
had a couple of rough series in a row, I think.
Sam, I think they've had a couple of rough splits in a row now at this point. JDG, a team which had the hearts and minds of the Chinese fans, particularly in 2023. Before that as well, being LPL champions multiple times. After that, though, they have struggled.
They really have. Been quite reliant on Pays of late, again, to be the hyper carry. He had to do some impressive work on Lucian to get them the necessary wins to get themselves moving forward when things were looking very dicey. Just about took down EDG in a series that was best described as League of Legends.
True. Oh, good. Weibo on the other side of things, of course, got dealt with by top esports. Fair to say.
They did.
Well, I think that's actually a little bit dangerous. That taunt comes through. Xiaohu might actually have the flash hit.
Yeah.
Indeed does. I think the QW plus the auto would have killed that. Xiaohu down the summoner.
Nice play there from Scout. He's been an Orianna player. And shows Xiaohu exactly how well he knows the limits on that champion. Catches the Justice Punch just right.
And it's just always cool to see Xiaohu versus Scout. Now, are these two at the prime of their careers? No, but just for those of us who saw them all the way through that, it's always cool to check back in with this matchup and see how the old gods of the LPL mid lane are faring now. Might get hooked here. Can he force the level 3? No, not quite.
Hook lands though. That makes things a bit more interesting. Crisp takes a lot of damage. Reminder, no aftershock with current supports. If you get hooked by, say, that Nautilus, you will be taking a lot of damage with little ability to mitigate.
Get themselves to level 3 now, but they were fighting at level 2, and that's where they lost all their HP. Shun is on bot side. Shun, player which has really been trying to hold this team together in his own way too. JDG, one of those teams which you can really struggle to find the actual cause their issues in mid lane now, though.
Now going to get flash flag dragged on top, off will flash the other side, and with no ability to follow up, should be able to walk out here, but down the summoner.
No, I think they knew they weren't going to kill him, but now they even up those summoners in mid lane and potentially force Scout to back on a poor wave for himself. Shun and draw allows Scout to catch the wave, though.
We're standing on the ward. Couldn't quite see that, of course, because of the interface in the way, so they might know they're there, and then the camera pans down, and you go, no, they definitely do know that they are in fact there.
We're getting towards the point where we have to think about lane swaps, and the grubs coming after. Dragon is available in 30 seconds. Cole and Tyr in for both AD carries, so they're waiting to gain some value from the stacking.
I might not think about grubs, I might think about
going to the park instead.
Yeah, that one. I was going to go for something in game, so it was a little less very specifically Hatgood family lore related, but here we are.
Will you learn what that is?
No, never going to tell you.
Some things, you know, you have to deal with not knowing some things, chat. I deal with that all the time in League of Legends. Yeah. Do I know?
Who's going to say in life?
True, that too. Yeah. Imagine League of Legends being my specialty area, and I still know.
I know.
Don't know some things in that. Yeah, it's the expertise curve where you think you're really smart because you don't know anything, and then you learn what you don't know, and you go, "Oh no, I'm not very smart." And it takes a long time to get back up the curve of figuring out what you don't know.
Fun fact from Alcapol. Well, because Brackish Brit in chat's been Wololo, we ought to give an Age of Empires.
Did you know that light cavalry are the one unit which can't get converted by priests?
Oh,
in
really?
Age of
I
Empires?
did not
Yeah.
know that. Actually. That's a
cavalry,
great fun fact.
Light cavalry cannot be converted in Age of Empires 2.
I was going to say that they do a really cool Red Bull event in the castle. For Pro Age of
They do?
Empires.
That's
yeah.
so cool.
So
Wow.
yeah, Age of Empires esports still lives on, and they do it live from castles.
That is very, very cool. You know what? That is a fun fact. Thank you. That's a good fun fact, sir.
Shout out to Killer Pigeon as well, who does a fantastic weekly broadcast. for Age of
Nice,
Empires.
very cool. No, Dash was doing some.
yeah.
Dash was doing some Age of
He
Empires.
is indeed.
Light had just recalled that using the timing to get a recurve bow. Very good for the component actually. Ult's used on top side. Full wave clip. Did he have a kill angle there? I don't know. I think with the cooldowns down, less so.
Spirit Abjuration comes on forwards, but needs a little bit more AP before it becomes really threatening. Jaw's about to face check here, who will buffer through the hook. Oh my day, Shahu. Just about out of range of that one. That would have been a bit more interesting with shockwaves available. Either way, out of the river are Weibo. JDG get a hold of that Scuttle Crab. The biggest prize for any jungler.
Yeah. Well, it's not quite Season 8 Scuttle Crab
Flash Forum.
where it was the greatest of all prizes. That was the point where if you didn't roam for Scuttle Crab, did he give you 200 gold or something like that early?
It was pretty insane. It was like
something insane. I think it was 100 for the first one, but considering that was a first level jungle cap, insane. And that's why everyone was playing champions where you could just one-shot the Scuttle Crab, and that meant, you know, Lee Sin, Camille, Kiana, which was then led to this meta of one-shot junglers being played for the Scuttle Crab, and then they'd one-shot the laners afterwards because they were the most powerful people on the Rift.
And they didn't need to farm, they just needed Scuttle Crabs.
They just needed Scuttle Crab and then they farm kills. Which meant that we led this... It was really fun to watch for junglers, but really bad for everyone else, where all of the people on the map would just get one-shot by Kiana, Camille, all over.
Great.
You know what? Tien was really good in that meta, and we'll see if they can go one-shot the Rumble.
It's going to be a pretty good bounce house, and the shot been downed, and unfortunately for them, Xiaoshu is drunk under the table.
Tien going in towards that bot side gets himself the first kill of the series. There is a bit of a cross map. No grubs yet to help kill these towers, and we'll be just trading some plates along with that kill.
Doing their best to get a hold of that, and you noted the Corki's got a pretty good lane into the Kai'Sa early on. We do see a lot of cull from the Kai'Sa to mitigate, and a lot of like 10 CS discrepancies, and it's sticking relatively true to that right now. Of course, you get things like the tier for cullback trade and all those kinds of things, but right now, that matchup playing out about as expected.
And the interesting thing about it is, I actually think Corki does well into Kai'Sa late too, because if Kai'Sa jumps onto the Corki, sometimes the Corki one-shots her back.
Really?
Yeah, sometimes we see that. It's like the Kai'Sa is expected to win late game, but the Corki gives enough of a question mark where you need to be really careful. Plus with the random chance of a big one landing on random poke trades, Corki's quite good at controlling Kai'Sa for most of the game, so I don't mind seeing the Corki into the Kai'Sa. I've learned more and more about that as the split's gone on, really.
Again, that's always such an interesting discrepancy with Corki in the non-specific is, ironically, the AD carry champion with the lowest win rate over time of any AD carry champion. The Kai'Sa matchup, as you noted, is a little bit of a wrinkle to that normal stat.
You know, in solo queue, Kai'Sa is actually one of the worst late game AD carries.
Really?
Yeah, because she takes too much skill to pull off in the late game. She has the potential, but the skill required to make Kai'Sa work in late game is very, very different. Yeah. Dragon for grubs are traded. Weibo take the dragon. JDG take all 3 grubs. As we're quickly wrapping up things as we yap. That's a better way to say things.
Yeah, that was better to say. I feel like that's a song I wasn't expecting to have to quote on broadcast, but here we are.
Washed ass Poppy.
That's
that's what happens when you don't get the full bill.
Did you see the completely non-coerced Gulhoto apology video?
I did.
Just excellent.
It wouldn't surprise me if we use that for LEC this weekend. It would not surprise me at all. Just very funny how just so early into the year he's like, yeah, this team's not making worlds, they're washed, blah blah blah, and then he's sat there like, okay, all right. I'm honestly good on him for taking the L in a funny way. That's a good way to do it, folks.
I've got a great screenshot of Dylan's reflection with the giant knife.
Yeah.
just phenomenal.
Yeah. Oh, man. Weirdly, I have a similar video of myself somewhere, or a picture of myself. Not an apology-wise. There's a delivery company in Germany called Gorillas.
Ah, yeah.
and I forgot that I'd ordered something, and I just got this notification pop up saying the gorillas are on their way. So I took a picture of myself like cowering the shower with a knife, which just overlaid with the gorillas are on their way. Or like the gorillas are coming. When will they arrive? Am I safe? When can I leave the bunker?
Yes, when Harambe becomes the Haram X.
Oh god. Oh god, right, well, we're getting towards the point where fights are going to become more regular because we have long-range engage from the Jarvan, global coming in from the Pantheon, and of course the follow-up of long-range equalizer, the Galio ult over the top of it too. So as you go into the next few minutes, watch to see how vision gives people advanced notice. Where the fights will really happen is when a team doesn't quite have the vision to tell when a player's coming, and by the time they realize it's too late.
I need Rumble to attack Chow before plates for Alex.
Why?
I've got a song.
Oh?
Very silly song, Alex, but I'm excited to share it with you all.
Okay.
But it's only when Rumble gets to hit a plate.
I don't know if that's going to happen, Sam.
that would disappoint me, but yes, it quite possibly would.
I can tell.
Yeah.
Xiaohu waving up like, is there a song for Orianna hitting a tower?
No, there's not.
I think Xiaohu might die. It's Xiaoshu might dive hitting turret actually if walking too far. Flashing away from the net flag and drag.
I want that plate, can't get it now.
What would the song have been if he did hit the plate?
No, like, it's only if plates fall, you know. If we get to that point, like, we can do it as like a sleeper release if we don't get the opportunity for the drip marketing.
Right, okay. You're doing the TikTok meta. I'm going to show you everything but the actual full song. We'll give you this one clip, which is really good, and then everything else you're on your own.
Yeah, exactly. All chorus, no verse. The League of Legends.
There are so many songs that I'm like, just release the damn thing. You've been putting this on socials for like a full month. There's a really good band which is kind of making kind of new age new metal. It's called Overgrown, and they have one song which sounds really good. Release the damn song. I'm sat here listening to the same clip of it for the last week or so. Give me the juice. Give me the whole thing.
The one I've been enjoying is the sort of like British geezers, like the 70-year-old.
Oh yeah, they actually do release their stuff though.
Yeah, exactly. It's just like they're good. I quite like it.
We have had a lot of ping ponging waves, folks, and if you hadn't thought about why we're talking about random musical stylings, that will be why. Ooh, Scout thinking about getting an extra plate there. They do have the 3 grubs. The DOT does, of course, give you a little bit more sting on those towers. Of course, if the Rumble were to then go towards the plate, it would be pretty good there. Survive the Roma.
Is Rumble going to be able to hit a plate? Hang on. Hang on.
So, I'm not going to lie. I'm not sure given the wave clear of Aurora.
Violence. That was the most excitement we've had. Rumble's trying to hit a plate. Can we go bot? I need to see.
Well, Aurora's recalling, but the wave has gone with it, I think.
Rumble wants to play. Rumble wants to play. Wibble wobble, wibble wobble, Rumble wants to play.
Is that the song?
Yeah, it is.
Oh my god, really? That's all. Okay, well, we actually are going to see Xiaoxu going under the turret.
See, he wants to play. It was precious.
Sam, he's actually not hitting the turret. He didn't get to even hit the turret.
He doesn't want to play.
He
doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play.
He wanted it. He just couldn't get it, Sam. Oh man, I just need something to happen so we can finally refocus on the game. Like, we have 20 seconds till Dragon. I think we're at the point where a contest over Dragon may be likely from JDG. Now the question is whether Weibo wants it, because Weibo might just say let's go 1-1, and instead you know, wait for our own items to come online. Cull is 1 stack off from Light. Couldn't quite get that before this play.
That's actually potentially quite obnoxious. Would potentially have funded part of the next item, something like a recurve bow. Often goes good for a Kaisen, especially as you tend to go towards the Rage Blade second. Not going to happen right now. Fighting over mid lane wave control, Bananabush in control of Weibo right now, but Crisp is going to get caught out for defending that bush. Down for about half, if he had to burn the ultimate down to 99, and it's just stolen by Shun. Flash out from Tien, and JDG force their way onto the dragon.
So no kills, but a good smite secure from Shun there. Was a bit of a flip, the empowered Q helping him finish off the objective, and Shun, this is a guy which we were talking about earlier in the year, being like, well, he can do everything but smite. He's turned that around there at least. Tien can't quite win the battle of the most important key available to the junglers. Xiaohu will clear out a wave, and we are still, folks, left at 1 kill in 15 minutes, and I do vastly apologize. I was talking about this matchup and how close it is between the two teams. JDG Weibo, they are 8 and 9 in series all time, the 9 with the Weibo, and 24-24 in games all time between these two organizations. Of course, Weibo, a team which appeared in the LPL in 2022, and the grand majority of those series have been very, very bloody, very back and forth. We've had Nexus defenses, we've had steals, we've had crazy outplays. Such a memorable series, such a memorable head-to-head. But in this one, we are starting things off leisurely, slow, glacial, some might say.
That might be a slight movement of the tectonic plates, though, because Light just picked up a kill.
He did. It was an easy kill on to draw. Didn't use either of his summoners, thinking, okay, I'm just dead. And it turns out, if you talk about things being slow, they speed up. We figured out the curse. Herald has now started. Did JDG want to contest? Of course not, because we're still in our Ding-Dong Glacial era, and he versus...
Who's the woolly mammoth? Herald the woolly mammoth being ganged up upon by the power of humanity.
I'm very sad we don't have an elephant champion, by the way. Partly because player irrelevant in EU I need to call him irrelevant. At some point in my career, I need to hear that.
Like a mastodon type creature, pachyderm.
Those are some terms which I have not heard in a while, but they're very cool. I appreciate your usage of them.
I'm trying to think what kind of champion. Do you want
let's be honest, Sam.
champion?
Let's be honest, Sam. In terms of the players, who is the elephant? Blah blah blah. I mean, who would be the mammoth? It'd be probably one of the old ones, because Ice Age. So it'd have to be either Scout or Xiaohu. One of those two. Take your pick.
I mean, he's a giant statue. Maybe he could be a statue of a mammoth.
Well, I'm just thinking about the player, Sam, rather than the champion.
Okay, that's fine. That's fair. What would Xiaohu look like if he was just like fully covered in fur?
What?
Actually, that's a dangerous thought process.
Right. Sam,
I'm stopping it.
Are we making allusions to the fact that LPL players could be furries? No,
Unintentionally so.
The chance of a player being on screen being a furry is never zero.
Yeah, I decided very shortly after finishing that sentence it was a mistake.
And I
apologize.
I'm just so surprised that a game
viewers.
with so many proactive tools has not been that great. You have Jarvan into double immobile, into global, but also into double immobile solo laners. If you do end up getting Xiaohu or Scouts flash down, the capitalization is really, really good. We've not really seen that first step been done yet.
I guess my question then becomes, like, who actually is favoured by the slower game state?
I think it's fairly even. You know, I look at range and engage on both sides. I suppose JDG have a bit more range, Weber have a little bit more engage. But I think both teams can play this out completely fine. In terms of scaling damage, both these teams do damage into the late game. I wouldn't say that one carry completely takes over. Because while I think that Kai'Sa Aurora maybe do outvalue at points, Rumble is always good. And a good enough Orianna ult will outvalue a lot of things. Galio is very useful in this team, for sure. He can even up some of the return damage from JDG. But realistically, this game is about execution and about objective play. And that's the
no
boring
one's made any plays to execute.
Yeah, that is a very... Yeah, that'd be the case of things, Sam. That do be the case. I could be playing Uma Musume right now.
You could be.
We have Gemini Cup out right now, and no one's brought enough stamina, Sam.
No one. Did you bring enough stamina, Alex?
I did, and what I also did, Sam, is brought Haru Urara, rest in peace, and she is my debuffer, and she is leaving no prisoners. She's doing very well. She's actually very much helping my team comp right now. I missed that horse, even though I only knew them for like a month. I missed them. I'm glad they brought happiness to people.
Are you going to become a horse rider?
No, Sam, because that takes money I do not have. Right. Scout may take the first turret of the game here.
Oh my days. Action. In they go. Look at the last couple of quite wide. No! Yes! Yes! Yes!
We now have 2 kills and 1 turret kill. We have vastly had an uptick in our playmaking and our blood and bricks in this game. Scout, is he going to die for it?
Oh, just out of range of the shielded around. Felt that wind on his bum there, but he's going to be out just fine.
What was it that Foxy used to say? Squeaky bum time? Was that the one? I don't really know why, but yeah.
My personal favourite bit of on-show hazing of all time was prosecuted by Excoundrel and Foxtrot against Goldborn.
Sam, we actually have a dragon.
Do we
For
have
once,
a fight?
we may actually have a fight.
Okay,
Haze over the wall.
2000 HP. It's going to go down. Potential fight afterwards. Jorp hits the Dreadstein. Has to flash out the shield around. Flash from Chris.
Good equalizer.
Hero's entrance. They're going to try and interrupt that hero's entrance. That means Chris goes down. The equalizer, as you said, dangerous. Cataclysm good. But Tien exhausted. Flash away from Breathe. Taze Valkyrieing forward. Blastcode tries to keep Breathe safe, but he can't. As Xiaohu gets to follow him, they murder everyone. Finally, some violence. And JDG are the ones winning out on top of it. Xiaohu who should be out to safety with that blast cone.
Xiaoshu is the hero of that fight. As Weibo wanted to go in, the equalizer hit both carries and slowed them down. Breathe and Light not really able to follow up in the way that they wanted to. And then Xiaoshu, of course, chased down for the extra damage too. Atakan has just spawned, so it won't just be the fight over the dragon. It'll be the Atakan afterwards too. Just watch how good this equalizer is, because you have 2 carries and top an 80 carry here. And you'll notice the equalizer taps both them and Tien too, meaning that they are slowed heading into the fight. They don't really get a clean play in, and they have to take the long way out of the fight. Breathe doesn't even hop over the asteroids kind of style gameplay of his ultimate. Has to walk his way out of danger and can't quite manage to do so. So Weibo don't even get a single kill in that fight.
Actually, ironically, earns JDG the mark towards feat strength. In fact, feat strength in general, they got the early objectives. They just picked up 3 kills. Weibo now kind of blink and go, hang on, we're down a couple thousand gold. What's going on? The game sort of breaks towards JDG after that play.
It's not the biggest gold lead, but it is a gold lead. And Weibo, I would have thought they'd be much happier with those kind of first fights. With the Jarv and Galio, looked like it was landing pretty well, but their carries were out of position. Sadly, the Herald not even able to hit the tower hit.
Credit to Joe and Shun as well, making sure that the interrupt on the hero's entrance came on through as well, so Chris was sort of left out with no follow-up that he was expecting. He was hoping for a Kaiser, he was hoping for a Galio, he was hoping for a Jarv, and all of them were around, and none of them had the tools to get in the end. Potential shove up towards this top side now as well.
He still has both summon. It's quite hard to get the best out of him. You see that he's walking up pretty brazenly, just about to get himself the Muramana on this transformation. There you go. Equalizer used to chunk him out.
Clutch ghost, by the way, from Chris. Just about got him far enough away from the dredge.
This is good from JDG. What it means is that the HP is a little lower. They have 3 grubs, remember, so they can take a load of damage off of this tower. Even single auto attacks the DOT afterwards, takes the chunk off. Do that once more, maybe the turret falls.
Again, got a couple minutes until the next objective, so you can afford to be a little bit more profligate with your ultimates.
What does profligate mean, Sim?
If you're being profligate, you are being wild, careless with your resources.
That's a good word.
Being profligate with money. Spending is as you please.
I've been profligate with Umamusu.
Yeah.
We'll get to this turret again. The HP is enough for them to threaten JDG. I think they probably could have taken the tower on that. Going to lie, I would have thought that would have been okay, but I suppose the threat of Alistair with the Galio over the top, a little scary. So not cleanly taking the tower on that go of things. 2,000 gold lead now to the side of JDG. Dragon up in 2 minutes. And the Baron spawning soon as well. We're at our 2-item spikes for almost everyone in the game. Xiaoshu is likely going towards something like the Bloodletter's Curse to make sure that double AP solo laners get good value. Also will very much help against the Galio, who stacks a bunch of that too. And Weibo, they need to get a good fight soon. I don't think they want to allow JDG to extend the lead which they have. I know that there's not necessarily a scaling advantage one way or the other, but you do not want the gold to make issue of things.
Soul Point would still potentially be available for Weibo, who did get that second dragon, by the way. It was them who picked that up. But through mid lane we go. Breathe tries to clear the way with the weirding, won't be able to do so. Turning to the scene of the climb phase. Did walk up mid lane there quite brazenly. I wonder whether Tien might be considering an engage, but won't happen. 50 seconds now on Dragon, and Weibo Gaming now in prime position really in the river, for all that they did lose mid lane turret as kind of part and parcel of the trade that JDG made.
Okay, so trying to work though in towards bot river. The problem is Dragon is spawning just a little too late. So too late for Weibo. If it had spawned right then, they would have had an inside angle towards it. Instead, they're going to have to push out mid lane again and then go towards it. JDG recalling before the Dragon spawn, interestingly. They're going to make sure they're back out onto the map for like the largest amount of power that they have. They might give over some vision control and some entrance to the bot river though. Yeah, because they recalled, they're giving up these wards. That's what's happening. So basically they're saying the items we're getting, which is stuff like the Hex Drinker for pays, will matter more than the vision that we've lost to get them.
Again, on the back of the pit will flag and drag to take out the blast cone. Of course, Shun's got flash and Grand Starfall, so quite hard to keep the Pantheon out of the pit.
Those Bloodletter's Curses we were talking about just came in for both top laners, actually, and Weibo. They will be hoping they can get a better fight than they did last time. The last fight really determined by Xiaoshu hitting the equalizer onto the squishies in the back. They're onto the Dragon now at JDG. Can Weibo mount themselves a fight here? They're a little out of position.
Just flipping it. Breathe on a potential flank angle. It's been warded off by Xiaoshu. 3k HP on the Dragon. TM with the flag. The drag available. Over the wall goes Breathe, and the Dragon is just taken by Shun. Second now for JDG as they need to back away from the Between Worlds. And Weibo Gaming unable to pull the trigger, really.
Oh.
And but out. In comes the Equalizer, though. Gets a good chunk onto Breathe. He's now potentially in danger. Has to flash on out. Redemption coming on forwards. Xiaoshu potentially looking over the wall. Tien goes in with the flag and the drag, but gets knocked up by the depth charge. Goes down for the Cataclysm fully armed. Xiaohu goes in with the hero's entrance, but he's only entering into a battlefield in his own demise. Over the wall goes Light with the Killer Instinct. Does get two. Pull back with the Shockwave, and his moment of glory is quickly snuffed out.
That's a good effort from Light, but JDG are just more coordinated in the fight. Chris fails his headbutt pulverize at the start of things, which allows JDG an easy kind of slow rundown, forcing JDG to, Weibo rather, to respond in bits and pieces rather than all together. JDG, their carries are in a great spot now. You look at Orianna, the great gold lead. The smite went the way of Shun, and then watch this after, you know, they use the Aurora ultimate, rather, and it doesn't do that much. No one's getting passive props onto them, and Chris fails his combo. Means that his pulverize is down as well as his headbutt. Breathe, of course, has to flash out early because he'd used one of his escape tools in his ultimate just before. And you can see just these little bits and pieces engaging in drips and drabs. I think Xiaoshu does another great job flashing over the wall to provide this thread of the flame spitter, splits up the team again. Xiaoshu is having a good game here.
That's despite being down 40 or so CS to Breathe. Breathe had laned really well, but we're not really focused on top lane laning aside from my Wibble Wobble song, which was great, by the way. But what has turned up in the fights has just been JDG being a lot more concerted. Yes, the game has been slow. It's been a little boring, I'm not going to lie to you, but it has been JDG favored.
As now Light does have 3 items, so does Pays on the other side, because he has more of Mamortius. But now having the Terminus for Light, perhaps he can be the guy that can dive onto people.
That 3-item spike, very potent potentially, but you do need to actually get a solid Cataclysm Galio combo or something, because I haven't seen Weibo actually pull off an aggressive or even defensive combo successfully so far. Pretty much all of them have been, oh dear, the person I'm trying to protect is dead, or I've been interrupted trying to use my abilities.
Baron now spawned, and while this is going on as well, first game over here, LCK has got a hell of a good series going on over there right now, I hear, between Genji and KT. So hopefully we get some drama over there, and then people can come tell us about it when we're over here as well. Seeker's now bought for Xiaohu, has himself level 16. He's down 2,000 gold, but the Galio, I suppose his ultimate will always be a Galio ultimate and have some value.
What happens if it wasn't? What happens if it was like suddenly
like, well, that
yeah, what happens if like, I don't know.
Wait, isn't that basically what happens when you, what was it? Not Ultimate Spellbook, when you can replace your summoners with someone else's
ultimate.
Yeah. Like Nico Nocturne was the most broken thing I have ever seen.
Okay. So I'm not asking for like actually good combos here, right?
Bad ones. Okay,
I'm asking for like really silly combos. Like if you were going to combine champion, give a champion ability that would just be silly.
Sam, almost everyone gets worse with Scout just missed the cannon there, by the way. Almost everyone gets worse with Zoe ult. Because Zoe ult is just it is so useless. It's really quite bad.
I feel like Ezreal with it could be really funny though. Just hop forward for better Qs and back again.
Yeah, he's one of the few which might do okay with that one. But most people, again, because it brings you right back to where you were, it's really quite hard to use. Light gonna walk in towards mid lane, has the E upgrade, but uses the barrier to try and clear the wave.
Oh my days, gets to the wave, but actually leaves someone split up on the other side. Scout just about to find. He got a good shockwave, flashes out, stays alive. The hero's entrance comes on through, the knock-up in, but the Equalizer tags Light. He's burning, not quite dead. Over comes Breathe, looking for a counter punch of his own, goes between worlds. The problem is that Xiaoshu is sending him everywhere else. The Cataclysm comes on through from TM, but there's no follow-up anymore. All of the cooldowns have been burned.
Light makes a huge mistake going for that mid lane wave clear and losing his barrier and his HP. If he had the HP to follow up onto Scout, that would have been a one fight for Weibo. That could have been the play back into the game, but Light's misstep and JDG and Pays' punishment sees them not only getting the kills, but getting the Baron as well.
Scout has the Medjais and the move speed, guys. I'm telling you, Phase Rush and Medjais flashes out into great value. Look, this is what you get for having a Seraph shield, a command protect, and your summoners available. They see Light and try to punish him here. They just caught him on vision while he was supercharging. That's why they had an idea where it was. It was actually blind from Page with his fast bomb. Good work from him. And then they try to full combo onto Scout, but Redemption comes on 40, flashes out of the enemy Redemption. They all go in, but now all the bruises are here. and Xiaoshu just gets to equalize him.
And Light just doesn't have the HP to fight. We're talking about, well, you know, a 3-item Kai'Sa, maybe that can be the DPS they need. Not really in this situation. And exhaust onto Tien as well means that the Jarvan has, sadly, not really had the impact in that fight which he needed. Can't really say the Jarvan's had much impact outside of 1 or 2 early plays. Now JDG really taking off.
It does feel like Jarvan is, post a certain point, a bit limited in terms of his ability to one-shot someone with current builds and play patterns. I did cast recently an opportunity Jarvan,
Yeah.
which in NLC, and that was one-shotting people. That was very funny.
Yeah, you do run the risk of, sadly, if you ever get caught not one-shotting
Yeah,
people,
that-
you
yeah.
die very, very quickly. You know, some people out there remember stuff like Ravenous Hydra Jarvan top and the like.
Do you remember Ray playing that for C9 top?
Yeah. Apparently, he's coming back into pro play, by the way.
Oh, congratulations to him.
He's doing his, he's done his military service, so he's coming back into pro play potentially next year. He's looking for a team. See how successful he is. JDG doing the slow roll in now. Weibo really failing to get the engages that they needed, and now behind so much gold, it's a problem.
I mean, you've got a 4-item Corki who's got a more Malmortius to deal with the very heavily magic damage team, actually. Even the Kai'Sa building mixed damage, right? And then Paze gets the Valkyrie away. Stretch out on the wall goes wide, but Jorg getting into body block a lot of this. An attempt there from Breathe, who just doesn't hurt Paze with all the magic resist and the redemption coming on through. Breathe nearly burning out the equalizer. Tien and Chris desperately low. Kai'Sa takes out a Nautilus. That's the best they can get. Flash into ignominy for Xiaohu, and 4 members fall. Breathe on the fountain with no tools left. It's a slow game. It's a grindy game. It's a boring game. All the same, it's a Jing-Dong game. They will be winning game 1.
Xiaoshu's Rumble, so impressive in this first game. The equalizers have met the answer to the equation that they need. The Nexus will fall. JDG will take an early lead in the series versus, I suppose, their rivals in Weibo.
Initial early game this time around with the shove of the Ezreal Khan with the Taliyah behind. Perhaps they can turn things around. JDG allow them, eh? On to the Rift we go for our second game of the series.
"敌军还有30秒到达战场，碾碎他们。"
Gage at the level 1. Xiaohu's going to have to flash. Stays alive for a second or two. Can they get the last auto? They can. Pays with first blood. Goes to the heal now, Burn. Scout potentially dangerous. Tien will audacious charge it. Looking for the 3 talent strike passive. Can't quite get it. Now they're getting turned around on themselves. JDG get the kill, but a little lower on the health bars on the whole here. Chris looking to find an interrupt on the back. Can't find the soul flows. JDG back away. Prevent. Easy interrupt. Will just about get that reset, but of course there's the double back available. Should be able to reset anyway.
So first blood to JDG, summoner down on Xiaohu, and Weibo with the early game comp take a loss at the level 1. That is disaster for them. I mean, you only use some minor summoners from JDG. It's the Ghost and the Heal from Draw. That's it. They don't burn any flashes. Xiaohu will get back into lane, but Scout doesn't miss a single CS here. So a massive victory here for JDG. I suppose the one thing is that Scout started the W, not the Q. That's it.
Again, you have burned the teleports. I suppose if Xiaohu can get a chunk, maybe that can help even up that lane a little bit. But for now, Paze gets back, gets early boots into the Ezreal Karma for some better skill shot dodging apparatus.
Also just able to chase down for the extra auto attack. If you get... oh, it would have been a W start from Paze and Draw as well, likely. Draw started with his own. Not sure what Paze did. So maybe some laning options available for Weibo, given the starting skills of JDG. Looking at the win rate for Weibo on all of their champions. Pretty successful in their bot lane. The rest of it's a little bit more mixed because Weibo, on the whole, a little bit more mixed with their own results this split.
3 and 8 for the Shinza for Tien is not great news, actually. I was expecting a little better there. Light, either way, mid-jungle still a little better than their history would otherwise predicate.
Just in general, their win rate has been quite low. JDG on the other side. You know, Xiaoshu, I think he's a great Cassante. He's 3 and 5 on it. Sometimes the stats lie by omission, and they don't tell you officially, no, they were good at this, but, or they have great results in this. However, JDG, what's the, oh god, it's the Simpsons quote. Short answer, yes, yes with an if. Long answer, no with a but.
No with a but.
The Reverend dude. Oh, there were some good quotes from that. For those of you that didn't really grow up in the era of The Simpsons, you missed out on something special, I tell you. It was pretty good back in its heyday. Got some good push in from all of Weibo's lanes. Weibo have 3 lane push. That makes that level 1 matter all the more, actually, because if they didn't have the early level, the early advantage, you could imagine that Tien just walks into the enemy jungle and makes a mess of things. Shun using that Q to get in towards topside scuttle if you can. Spawning now. Xin Zhao on the bot side, and despite the fact that the Renekton and the Taliyah have their waves pushed, it should still be a 1-for-1 scuttle trade.
That will be the case for now. Again, get that skull crab you were mentioning. Still Karma, still got Shove, still feeling they've got some control over the lane. See how well Pays and Jaw do about picking up this wave under the turret. Already lose 1, unfortunately, 2 turret shots, but the rest looking relatively clearable. They do see Tien resetting. Jaw's going to interrupt it and then battle down tap to safety.
Gets the free heal as well. We love to see those. And Weibo not really getting that much done in the first few levels right now. So we have to ask some big questions about them in the next few minutes, particularly when it comes to first dragon spawn, when grubs come up as well. Can they land the early game fights that they couldn't in game 1? It is even more important in this game. Last game was like, well, you know, neither team's committing to it. That's fine. Now it's Weibo need the early fights. Their composition requires it.
Shun's already managed to get a reset off, so now here with a bit more in inventory to help the bot lane clear out and get that reset as required. From the Mystic shots, but that will be a pretty nice shove on in and a reset allowed for JDG's bot lane.
Got quite low HP in this mid lane. As you were saying, the teleport being down meant that he couldn't really reset, and there was some chance for a lane advantage. Hasn't really happened that way. The scout has got low HP. It means that he's not really going to be in position to fight around something like, you know, Tien walking in for a Raptor steal, or of course the Dragon which is spawned.
I mean, it's the worst possible option for a breakfast, isn't it? No HP source. What are you going to do? Your breakfast sandwich is going to be absolutely empty now.
So I agree for a breakfast sandwich, but, you know, I wouldn't put HP... So hang on a second, flash forward for the stun.
Flash incinerate, and then the disintegrate after. Seismic shove to disengage. Flash grand entrance. Flash over from Shun, looking to get the last autos. And Pays on the roam, looking to lane swap. Gets value. Tien forced to flash away from the potential feather bolt, and another kill goes the way of JDG.
Well, it takes 3 flashes, but they get the kill, and JDG punish Xiao, who, again, Scout's old enemy. Taken down twice now in this game. Scout, I thought he wouldn't be able to fight, but Annie just needs to provide that stun. And that sets up the whole sequence of events, and sadly Tien, despite the early power of the Xin Zhao, could not get the value down.
Stack up some and Tofo strikes in the top side. Breathe on the Renekton, a staple of his.
Xiaoshu hitting the level 6 now as well. Ultimate in the tower. Scout getting the cleanse out of light, and of course that's something you can return to perhaps a little bit later. That is going to make Draw's life a little bit easier if he can hit the level 6 in the window while that's down. Dragon's now spawned, and Grub's getting a little closer. I don't think... Oh, and there's a decent flick back actually. Draw, can you make it out? I think he can do, especially with the heal. He should be fine.
Nice work there. Good read from Xiaohu, don't get me wrong, but they're not in any real threat in the grand scheme of things. Doesn't mean he's going to have to reset those. That probably means Dragon for Weibo a formality at this point.
Weibo taking the chunks around the place to say, all right, level opens up for the Dragon. Now, can they get towards the Grubs in a minute as well? We've got no teleports up for Weibo. Do you have one for Scout, one for Draw on the other side of JDG? Do you want to quickly move around the map? Xiao, who not able to land the flick back, but did land the big rock onto Pays on the worked ground. Tien potentially looking to contest on this blue buff now. We'll see it going down. I don't think it's going to get to a low enough HP where Shun can immediately smite it. Tien, Chris, Shun, Draw, anyone else coming into the play? Scout is coming over, doesn't have the ult, but does have the stun.
Weaver's Wall now allowing for a potential engage from Xiao, who 700 HP, won by Shun with the smite. So all it leads to is a couple summoners blown. No one being really dead.
I have to cast my eyes over to the LCK Game 5 happening right now as well. Man, I have to say, one of the things that is both beautiful and terrible, beautiful for you, the viewer, is that you can open up, at this time slot, 3 different major regions and get some really good entertainment. Yeah. LCP, LCK, LPL, all happening in, I suppose, European early morning, and, all kind of overlapping. For us, as the broadcasters, we have to sit here going, God damn, There's some great League of Legends here, but I could be watching 3 of these games at once. That'd be great. I used to do that, actually. In fact, I used to do that on stream occasionally. I'd do the ADHD gaming, where I'd have, you know, Subway Surfers in one corner, 2 different streams in the other ones. Pop back, does he ult him through the wall?
Thought about it, but you're actually already on the right side of the wall. Meant they didn't want to drag him away from that potential angle, so it'll just be the Dominus procs, and Xiaoshu looking to reset anyway.
Wondering whether he'd try and pull him back into the turret is the thing. Grub's now spawning. Xiaoshu doesn't have teleport. With him not committing to that kill there, I think Weibo will now pick up all 3 grubs.
And did get the early dragon as well, so Weibo actually with a better start in terms of the objectives this game, even if JDG are the ones with the early kills. The gold lead's not that spectacular here, it has to be said.
Yeah, and going to finish off that 3rd one. And while the gold lead isn't that spectacular, getting 3 grubs and a dragon is important.
It isn't. Boots been completed for Pays on the Zaya, who got the early brown bag reminder off that first blood, and used that to help mitigate what we normally expect to be a significantly more problematic lane. Ezreal Karma, a bit obnoxious for, say, a Zyra Khan, just outranged, to be honest, Anti, even if you got all-in options. And even though there is a slight CS lead to light of about 10 or so, that's good news for him. It's not really led to anything resembling a meaningful gold lead.
And that's a problem. That is a problem. Now, I think that you can use the objectives which you have to good value. It's not a bad thing to have them. 3 grubs, the dragon, important, but you do need to also just have fighting power. And my worry is that you get a little bit further into this game, I don't really see how you deal with a Cassante with the Xayah behind them. I don't think you can cleanly get onto both of those, well, deal with the Cassante and also get into the Xayah at the same time, particularly with Xayah being piloted by Pays, who's been so important for JDG, and Xiaoshu piloting the Cassante, who I think has been JDG's MVP for this split. You go back earlier in the year, before Xiaoshu joined. Of course, JDG have made a bunch of changes this year. They changed out supports twice. They started with Missing, went to Wink, ended up on Draw. They started with Arla in top lane as well, changed over to Xiaoshu in the top lane, and even coaches they changed around. Clearlove is their coach now, and despite his pretty dismal coaching record, JDG look like they've done better now, despite getting reverse swept by BLG. Looks like they've had a bit of an uptick in terms of form. And I think Weibo are going to be hard-pressed to win this without a good gold lead, given how JDG played in that first game.
Completely agree. Completely agree. Gold lead being next to even is a bit problematic. When's our next dragon? About a minute away. That be our next port of call. We're going to get a plate up here with those grubs, so just managed to do so. Plus the bot rush, to be fair, which is also important. Wibble wobble, the next multiplayer doesn't quite have the same feel to it. You know what I mean?
No, it's a little bit harder to make things work that way, really. You know, dragons only living for, you know, about a minute or 2, I start to understand why they're now mythical creatures. I feel like there is some kind of, you know how a lot of animals are killed very unfairly for, you know,
sustenance.
Well, not sustenance, but, you know, for like medicinal value and for ivory and stuff like that. I wonder actually if dragon killing should be known as poaching instead, because I think that these are beautiful creatures which are being killed for their resources.
I mean, they probably would taste quite good boiled in a pan of water.
What? Do you have any? How can you possibly say that, Sam? Perhaps whatever.
Poaching, you know.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Poached dragon.
Yeah, you see, that's the. That was the route I went. My brain works in mysterious ways, Alex. So I feel like work may in fact be a bit of an overstatement. Scout with the passive stacked in the mid lane. Line Bush is a ward right now for the side of Weibo, spotting out what's happening with the Dragon Crisp. Is kind of looking to step on forwards, gets down the inner focus resolve. Light looking to try and nab that one. I won't quite find it. Tien goes in with the crescent guard, going to get sped around with the quickness, and then turning onto Light, who's left very low indeed. Looking for the focus resolve onto Shun, won't quite find it. Xiaoshu goes all out, trying to find some value on the other side, but he's in a 1v5. That's a bit deep. Cassante, flash on now. Breathe with the dominance rolling. The feathers flying. That'll probably allow for a good pull here from Pace, who's still holding the flash, and finds a wonderful angle for it. Crisp low, trying to back himself away with the Inspire. The kill off the Shinzo, who doesn't have the Crescent Guard anymore, breathing the slice. slice and dice around, gets a good heal with the culling of the meek. But what about the rest of the health bars? Chris got no mana. A grand entrance. Jewel will trade his life for it. Adolfo strikes on so many members. Brings down the Renekton. Health bar so low. Shot flashing for the force and finds it. Adolfo strikes again. Xiaohu trying to get some more threaded balls and can't land them onto Pace. It's a 4 for 3 right now. Xiaohu ends up eating some footwork. And Xiaoshu confirms the ace.
Xiaoshu carries the fight for JDG after an awkward start and teleport position. Blood finally flows in this matchup, which we've been waiting for. JDG, this is the kind of team fight which makes you really excited for them in this series and perhaps further through this playoffs if they can keep this up. The Dragon secured by them at the start, and I love how Draw started this fight, dragging the team away, going from back to one side to the other, gets the ton of damage onto Light. And while Xiaoshu does get a bit of an awkward teleport angle, he manages to link back up with his team, and this is part of the worry that we had about this team was, well, how do they kill the Cassante? The answer is, they don't very well.
Being a problem, and then he sort of gets to this point and watch Pace flash there, the double route to make sure that Tien and Chris Life's is hellish. Scout finds the flash stun to confirm the kill onto the Shinzao, and then it gets dicey because the health bars start getting very low on both sides. But back to live, we've got more important things to talk about, meaning impending violence. Tien with the Crescent Guard again, not KLL as Medic would say. All the while, that blue buff being attacked, but surely secured here by JDG, and they lose another member.
Light gets the blue buff with that last Q. Gets that last blue buff hit with that Q, but still, losing a kill for it. You're not so happy about that one, and Tien doesn't see any of that benefit. 1,000 gold down now to Shun, who's one of our best buys within the league. And you know, while Xiaoshu has been so exemplary over the last minute or two, Pays, oh my god, he's been so good on the Xayah. Those are the two champions that we highlighted before, saying, you know, like Cassante, the Xayah, how do you deal with both of them? And Weibo have come up short with that now. And despite their early objective lead, you were calling out, well, you know, gold lead, not really that much. Yeah, now at a solid gold deficit. They're going to maybe even take a blue buff on the other side, and Chris caught out. He isn't having a flash.
Oh boy, he burned his flash in the last play. Charm goes with the Tien, learns the win become lightning. Shun might now be in danger. Turns over the season, says Breed looking for the flank angle. Would likely kill Shun here. Damage back though onto the likes of Tien, who's so desperately low, and Light with no summoners goes down. They trade jungler for 2. In goes Jewel. Can't quite find Tien. He almost got the blast going out to safety. Backstep on the seismic shove. Jewel, battle dance and stay safe. That's the end of that.
Blue buff not actually taken by JDG and all of that, but they'll take the kills again. Hell, that seems like a good trade for me. Scout on the Annie. Going up to clear out that top side. Herald has spawned, and I suppose that will be the extra kind of implication of this is, you know, is someone ready? Hang on a second, that's an ult towards top side, but he runs into both solo lanes. Not sure he expected that.
That's a bit scary. Scout's going to get healed by that redemption. Looking to go all out onto Breathe is Xiaoshu. Scout low, gets another stun. The true shot barrage from downtown secures the kill on Scout. Another 3-part Topo strike 3. Pays him with the Feather Storm. And the weather keeps being so inclement that it's JDG who murder 4.
How does he get out alive? The Omnivamp from the All Out. Xiaoshu. Oh my god. What a level of play from this player. This guy should have been an all-pro top lane. I don't care what anyone else says. Xiaoshu was deserved an all-pro top lane spot. Give him one of the 3. I cannot believe he didn't feature there. What a series of play from the Cassante, showcasing exactly what he's brought to JDG over this split.
I think he's hit more multi-man Q3s than single-man Q3s.
Yeah, and then every time you hit someone, you get the Omnivamp as well. So it's not just the CC. Comes here at exactly the right time, gets the footwork shield for Scout, and starts to bot people around. The flick backs from his ult as well, helping with the peel, allows Scout to get a ton of damage down. Scout would not have gotten nearly as much damage without that down. And then with the 3-man knockup coming through, the healing comes through from it, gets another knockback as the Shinzao comes in, giving a tiny bit of healing, and he lives through it. Insane Cassante play.
Great shout out to Pace well, who goes ghosted up the river to be there faster. Was hugely valuable. They get the Herald afterwards, looking to continue to turn the screws. And Weibo Gaming are feeling the pinch of it. Tier 1 falls in mid lane.
Full turret down there on the bot side. Scout got a trade onto Breathe. Pretty sure he just dies for it though.
Does indeed, but now Jaws around. Breathe is low. Overcome the rest of JDG. They've got a Battle Herald, and the taxi comes on in. Quickness knocked up multiple times. Slammed into the wall. Vengeance for Scout. Swiftly secured.
Is that a Herald or a Battle Tank? Drives it down to the bot side. Gunnar was ready, and there was a full CC and Rage Up. If a Q had come through, he could have healed and maybe survived. But the CC lasts too long, and JDG will go from mid lane turret to bot lane turret, taking both and taking kills in both exchanges.
It's a challenge at 2,000 LP.
Oh, God. Well, Xiaohu on top side does have grubs, but if he gets... the wave clears come through now. Does the turret shot come on? I think it might do. There's an ult still available for Vi.
Yep, can look to buffer through. Xiaohu has his Seraph shield run out. No flash to really find a way out there. And that means a 5th death for Xiaohu. 2 and 5 this game.
JDG, some great plays across this game. And of course, the last one was really slick. See, reminder, folks, that JDG had just taken a 5-game series versus BLG to the brink. Did lose out in that game 5. But JDG, even after getting reverse swept there, not to be counted out, I suppose, did beat EDG as well in a similarly close series. This Herald was disgustingly good. Look how his CC comes through. Really well played from jungle support to full CC the Renekton and make sure they couldn't get an empowered Q healing. Dragon now going to be forfeit over to side JDG as well. Scout alone on the side lane, but dodges out and the wind becomes lightning. And a defensive teleport from the Rakan will see Scout to safety.
Dragon secured. JDG now find themselves happily in command of this game, don't they? 5,000 gold up. 2 items for Xayah, 2 items for Shun. Not quite 2 items for Xiaoshu, but who needs that on K'Sante at this point when he's so damn strong in general? The problem is you look on the other side, this Renekton pretty anemic, the Shin's out anemic. Poor old Xiaohu as well has got a needlessly large rod and a Seraphs and is not feeling particularly strong this game either.
So what do Weibo do? They needed that early advantage because it doesn't get any easier as the game goes on, realistically. They can use that ultimate from the Talia to create a numbers advantage. Pays us that way. Normally I'd say AD carry should not be walking up like that, but I guess when you've got 2 summoners and ultimate, and you've got a scout behind you, you feel okay about it, I suppose. Good vision control from JDG all across both sides of the jungle. Very rare to get advanced vision on both sides of the map. That's very luxurious there, luxury. As they push in, no objectives for them to take outside of the Atakan, which is often, you know, something you really need to set up for in advance. JDG wanting to make sure they get full information around this and make sure that Weibo don't get an easy access to contest it.
And we've seen a lot of bad Atakan plays in the LPL. How many games have been thrown here? Hell, I watched JDG do that just the other day. Well, now trying to make sure that there is a short option to find their way in. Xiao, who just got chunked by Shun with an auto for unrelenting. What's the big punch called? The denting blows is like unrelenting
excessive force.
Is it excessive force?
I think that's what it used to be called. I don't know what it is.
I think it's unrelenting force.
Oh yeah, they got to get rid of all of those.
Assault and batteries now cease and desist.
Yeah, I'm just saying. If you're gonna make jokes about it, stick to your guns. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Dragon on the bot side, not Dragon, Atakan being started with JDG by forcing Weibo out of the side of the map. There's no real contest coming in.
Doesn't look like it. Xin Zhao is back in base. This is gone. True shot barrage is not going to be quite timed right. 2,000 HP is a little high even for an Ezreal ult.
You're a little high to be an Ezreal ult. A little short. A little short to be a Stormtrooper.
A little tall to be a Hobbit taking the ring to Isengard.
Yeah. Like Mordor. What's his name? Carrot in Discworld novels. He's a little tall to be a, you know, he's 6-foot dwarf.
Yeah, he is.
Took a long time to figure out.
He finally told he was adopted. He thought he was just vertically challenged.
For those of you who never read Terry Pratchett's works, go do that at some point. Great books. Very, very good. My favorite author of all time. JDG commanding this game now. And in the first game, were much cleaner in the team fights too. But, you know, Weibo, they're a team which took down anyone's legend in a best of 5. We expected more from them these first few games. Of course, there's a full series to be played after this, you know. We've got potential of them coming back in the series, but this start to it has not looked clean at all. Red buff spawning pays some poke coming into him from lights. We see a full fight over this. Well, I doubt JDG want to fight without Xiaoshu ready and in position. He wants to push out top lane first and to make sure he can teleport down. Come on, Weibo, you've got to give us some kind of fight. We talked up this matchup so big. You know, these teams, 24 and 24 all-time in terms of games before this series. 8 and 9 to the favor of Weibo before this series too. They are as close as teams get. They have gone neck and neck, even over JDG's super team year of 2023. Weibo won both series they played against them in that year. Only played against them in regular season, but beat them both times in spring and summer in 23. They beat them JDG at their best, and JDG are far from that now in this year. They're clawing their way back to form, make no mistake, but it's very hard to match 2023.
Mind of the fan vote at the beginning of the broadcast was 90% in favor of Weibo Gaming. People did not believe in JDG, and the more things change, the more they stay the same. You can just never trust LPL playoff games to deliver in the manner you're expecting. And Weibo Gaming have rolled wrong on the side of consistently inconsistent so far today.
Minutes till Dragon. Are we going to get 3 items onto someone like Pays before that comes through? Sure, he's got the 2 expensive parts of his Infinity Edge coming through, and that is very terrifying for Weibo. Scout has the Bloodletters now. Dropped some farm to make sure that other people have access to it. Xiaoshu, hang on, I'm interested to see what he goes as his next item, actually, with that Aegis. He could go towards the Locket, actually, but he might just go towards that Unending Despair. Upgraded boots, of course, for him as well. 20 seconds till Dragon. Weibo trying to push out mid lane to get them easier access to the objective.
This would be soul point for JDG, not actual soul. So there's a world where Weibo could give it up, I suppose, but I don't think that's going to change the game state very much. What are you waiting for item-wise? Maybe was it more on light if you were going to do that? You can't see a lot in the jungle. I know that's making things tricky. Blast Cone taken, Scout with the passive stacked again.
And the Dragon started. Weibo, I suppose they could give this one up. It's not the soul itself, but they don't scale particularly well, as we've been talking about. They'll see the Dragon go down. No contest. Some Safari League of Legends. They just sit and watch the wildlife.
Oh, Light has going to have to cleanse immediately as Scout finds him with a Disintegrate. Trying to go in there. Just TN with a Audacious Charge and 3 Talon Strike. The backs away quite swiftly. Now Soul Point. Baron's in 30 seconds, and we do this dance again, but just on the other side of the rift.
And Weibo, I just don't see how they get into this play now. Tian, is he going to walk in towards Shun? He is, but there's no follow-up right now. Not a bad turnaround. 2-level disadvantage. Ult pop by Breathe. Flash away from Shun. But do Weibo get anything for it? No, not necessarily. I mean, the flash being down on the Vi is important, but losing the Dominus means your immediate fighting power is a little bit lowered, really. Renekton really struggles to fight without that Rage on demand. Baron spawning. Weibo trying to clear out some vision. It's going to be the Territorial Baron, I believe that's what it's called. As JDG trying to force Weibo out of the river.
Of course, they do have all those different forms on Baron to force you to do different warding patterns and stuff. In comes the cease and desist, actually, Tien. Now in danger, has to Crescent Guard, but he's Crescent Guarding into, of course, the fact this Casante's in the backline already. And Tien is dead. Flash away from Chris. They're going to get 2 kills, the top jungle down. And Weibo Gaming blink and lose their health bars.
Now, what do JDG do? Do they immediately go back towards the Baron? Hell yes, they will. Baron on the table for JDG and Weibo. They have not been able to use the early power of their composition. They've barely been able to use anything. A flash forward or jump forwards, and that is the all-out.
All out onto Light, who is looking like his is a little bit dim today. Flashes over the wall, has been exhausted. Where do you go now? The grey screen for at least another 45 seconds. At the very least, Xiaohu survives. As to Scout, who's also not exactly healthy here. Baron secured as a 2-man from JDG, while all the violence was happening in mid lane.
So JDG get everything they've come for. They have their soul points, not the soul just yet, but they have the Baron. They go back to spend their gold while hitting 3 items across the board now, really. Only Light matching that from Weibo. But even then, this is the point we start to get really outscaled by the Xayah. It's a good flick back. The Q hits after the E does get buffered through. Flashes to make sure the all-out comes through, and Light just doesn't have enough mobility. The Ezreal, no mana, no HP. Not a snowball's chance in hell.
Good work there from Xiaoshu again, who's been having a monstrous Cassante game, hasn't he? 5-0-8. Get MVP for this one. I'm not sure what he needs to do.
Hard to tell what he can do more. Shun just jump forwards. Didn't want to pull that ultimate. Pushing in across the board. Weibo also don't have a great amount of wave clear, which is the problem. Not exactly going to be able to defend their base, I don't think. 2 minutes in the Baron buff. Ezreal does tag onto draw. Will likely have to recall. Does he have a spellbook teleport? See if he can get back out onto the map quickly. Weibo really just clinging on for life. This one is this game has been hard for ever since they fell behind in terms of gold. Now it is pretty much unplayable with JDG. So many items. A GA on Shun makes it harder to pick him off as well. Draws back out on the map, and I suppose JDG not able to break the base at this time. That's a slight win for Weibo, but it is small stuff.
Slowing down a little bit now. 1.5 minutes until Dragon. That would be Soul. Infernal Soul for a Annie Zaya. Yeah, sounds great. 3 items done for Pays, who has once again been very consistently dangerous. They'll find the quickness, Breeze needs the dominance and finds the time, but he's being CC. Double shove is good. Draw dies, but it's only the Rakan. Is that really what you need? Dice away as Xiaoshu also left pretty low. Feather pull from J Pays is scary though. Shun gets the shield with the denting blows. They lose another. Blast shield not enough. Tien goes in too deep. Shun's got the Jia to work with, and despite all of the talk about it, Pays with the feathers, he's still unthreatened. You've gotten kills on the front line, but not on the bird, who is speaking words of pain. Quadra kill, I believe, for Pays.
Pays getting all 4. It won't be the Penta, but Pays carries the late game. The AD carry, which has performed so well for JDG despite the team's ups and downs, closes out this game in fashion, and JDG will go to an early match point against Weibo.
10-0-9 just decides that he can see the angle, sees the vision, threads it perfectly. JDG 2-0 up at Weibo. Where are you? You need to wake up because this series is looking mighty challenging.
Oh, it feels like a bad dream for Weibo. Beat anyone's legend. Thought they were in for something special.
欢迎来到英雄联盟。
Xiaohu's dance that went viral earlier in the year.
碾碎他们。
Can Weibo give us a series? Reminder, folks, that I know we've harped on a lot about it, but let's be honest, the gameplay's not given us much else to harp on about. Weibo and JDG are as close as teams get. They have been neck and neck since 2023, really. Scout walking down towards bot side to see if there was a push stack up there. Double range versus double range does add some threats in. Ooh, good ward clear there with the W start from Pays. And it's not like the wave is already here, so it's like he can get the W cooldown back. Do they put another ward down from Lights? Scout starting the Q, making sure he can trade well against the single target of the card start of the TF as well. Shin walking into the enemy jungle on his own, level 1, alright. Can pick up the buckler for a bit of the shield. Poppy just wants to steal bits and pieces away if they can. Steals 2 of the small raptors. He steal a 3rd one? No. Coming down to a smite on this. And it's taken by Tien. Not level 2 though. Did not get enough of the small ones to get that. Shin did use the smite. Does Tien go straight up? Ah, now he's at level 2 because he leached some XP from the wave. Okay, interesting. Barrier used by Pays, wanting to tank up some of the damage there. Ricochet helps you clear through the wave very quickly, but Nymaera stacking that Q early on, very, very powerful, of course. Ah, and that's interesting. The wave got dragged around a little bit, so it meant that the Ricochet didn't hit the back minions very well. Tight 2v2 contest here, actually. Slight pushing from the Nymaera. Gold card onto a minion, not onto Scout. Xiaoshu only played the 1 game of this so far, but it was in that last series, the 5-game series, which went wild versus JDG. Again, the Ricochet's not hitting everything all the time there. Some targets just out of range. Tien thinking about going mid. Teleport towards bot lane. Very early lane swap. Very, very early lane swap, in fact. Scout, ooh, getting gold carded. Tien does have a decent amount of damage and has the red buff. Where's that W? Does it want to flash forwards? Gets that E. No damage from it. The second Q probably would kill. Ooh, not quite available. Not on target. I say not on target. It was flashed away from. Fighting over the grubs now. Tien really wanting to make something work. There's no flash on Scout now. Shin trying to outvalue. But Tien just bullying around. Despite the fact that Shun was the one invading first, Tien is the one that's getting away from this a little better. Teleport now onto Breeze, who does have flash. Strange teleports. The Mordekaiser coming down. Ah, yeah, that'll be. I was wondering if there's anything that's coming through. Full charge Q. Will definitely make him feel a little worse about that. How likely is it, in my opinion, for a reverse sweep? Given what Weibo have shown me, quite unlikely. But then again, JDG showed very good gameplay versus BLG in their first 2 games against them. And then things fell apart after that point. I normally like this composition from Weibo. It's a strong front line, good backline carry of the Yunara. However, I am quite worried that they're not going to be able to clean the front to back because JDG have so many ways to remove people from the fight. Tien fighting over the Raptors again. One small, one taken. Waiting for the Q cooldown to come back up potentially. Tien getting slightly better of this jungle matchup. Of course, Shen trying to use the full build Poppy, which is, you know, just hang on a second, just Tien. Ooh, we can maybe get the kill with the Q here, actually. Ooh, claimed by Shen. Q is just wide from Tien. Shen really trying to use the early power of the Poppy. The full build Poppy. You hit level 3, get red buff, and you are good. Pei's missed the cannon now. You should all know that Pei's missed the cannon and another small minion, but that's not the cannon. That's the important one. There was a Mordekaiser yesterday too. Yeah, but Xiaoshu was the one that played it versus EDG, and it worked really, really well for him. Good damage from Lights. Lights Yunara's been decent. He's been going for Hexplate first on the Yunara, worth noting. A lot of AD carries that don't need crit going towards the Hexplate. Just feels like a really strong item after the buffs. Gives you more ult up time. Force for Yunara, your ult is a lot of your value. Heal coming through. Light does have Kraken, not Kraken Slap, but he has the lethal tempo. Scary amounts of damage. Of course, when you get the Lulu hitting people, well, giving you picks, you get a ton of extra damage from that too. Even in terms of gold. Cullen for both AD carries. Slight lead towards the Mordekaiser. Even pretty much everywhere else. Suppose the TF Prince gold with this passive, so there's some value there. Hayes missed another minion there. Game 1 was very slow. More like this. That's the farm alarm from Sion. We'll ult to make sure he can catch that wave bot side. I want to see what Xiaoshu's full build is. We are likely expecting, you know, Riftmaker or Leandry's first, and then we'll see after that point. You could go Bloodletters. It can be okay. Eventually, we are expecting the Hexplate coming in from Mordekaiser, so your ultimate is just always available. Means that blowing your ultimate feels like much less of a negative thing. There is an AD ratio on Mordekaiser's Q now. I was wondering if Shojin would be a thing for the % damage increase. That's a very nasty wave freeze. Lulu's surprisingly good at holding waves like that because she can shield herself. You need a 4 minion advantage to keep a wave frozen, by the way. 4 minions. That makes me a little bit worried for JDG collecting farm on that top side. We do have, because what this will lead to is a slow, they can hold the wave there, let it crash, and then slow push back in time for the grubs. Flash forwards for the gold card. Scout no flash of his own. Is the full Q going to come through? Yes, it is. Tien wall stun, but he's not even going to be needed. That's a little bit of damage down with a Q through. Shen tries to disengage. Scout caught out well and truly, though, by Xiaohu. First kill for him. First blood to Weibo. A little better for them. Xiaoshu on the bot side. No teleport. 20 seconds till grubs. It does make you think that, well, he won't be moving up to contest. Say that there will be no contest. A lot of the time, top laners don't do that anymore from the bot side. They might tend to just stay bot side now. That's true. Yeah, Hexplate move speed for Mordekaiser is really, really important. You're not wrong. The attack speed is nice in general, but helps you get your passive in certain cases. Q auto tends to get it at that point. Ooh, good damage from Light. Pops the ultimate to get some damage down. Just want to chunk out Pei's and Draw, who are just hitting that, you know, level 6 for Pei's here to make sure that they can't roam down and help with the grubs. The grubs currently being taken by Tien. He had a good game on the Neferi so far. Been doing well. Making sure that Shen doesn't get ahead there. I think that when Weibo have been doing well in this playoffs, it has been off of Tien. Realistically, Tien has been the guy that's been setting this team up for success. Another quick recall from Pei's and Draw. Leaving top lane, going bot side. Xiaoshu has teleport. We'll shove in one more wave. Teleport up to top lane, presumably. Unpopular opinion, LCP is looking better than LTA EU right now. Kitty was co-streaming LCP the other day, which was pretty cool. CFO looked good. Honkyu is a prodigy. Honkyu is one of the next great players, I'm convinced. That guy is fantastic. We are seeing, you know, Maple and Cast are starting to pop off a bit more on talent. They've made it through to Worlds. We'll see who the third team from that region will be. Whether it will be Garm or someone else. That's true, Kozel. And component building was huge before the mythic item changes of 2020, right? You'd used to go Warden's Mail and Spirit and Spectral Cowl as well for just the very efficient defensive stats on both. Shun taking his red buff. Shahu walking away from walls to make sure that the Poppy can't threaten. Dragon has been alive for a little while, but neither team has found the time to do anything about it. And much more about lane pressure now. We are getting to the point where Twisted Fate ultimate can be quite scary. There's no cleanse on Pace, but does have the spell shield, of course, for gold card. Be banking his reaction time for that one. Heal thrown out. Spell shield used by Pace. Good damage back onto Light, actually, and they'll flash forward for a little more. That's not bad from the wild growth, though. Light will escape with the help of Chris. Uses both his summoners. Pace keeps both of his alive. That's a pretty good win there for JDG, actually. Double summoners and double ultimates from the enemy bot lane for the cost of double summoners on their supports. I think they'll take that. Now, it does mean that Draw is a little bit more vulnerable. Potential wall stun flashed away from Chris. But another summoner bought by Shun and the bot lane. Dragon, will it finally be started now? There's no camps up available for Neferia. Has Krugs, but that's it. Might be a contest here. Now, it's only on half HP. Sion does have ult. You don't really want to walk into River if you're not really committing to it. Plate for Xiaoshu. We'll get a little bit of gold up here. Going towards that Riftmaker first. I think Xiaoshu could really break this game. And Xiaoshu has been the linchpin for JDG, really. You know, we've talked about if Weibo win, it's largely through Tien. I think for JDG, earlier in the year, it was if Pays was doing well, then JDG could do great things. Now I think it's much more about Xiaoshu, a player who I think a lot of people who are not LPL fans don't know about. He's not been on a big team before. I've been a big fan of this guy ever since he was on Rare Atom. And I think that it's been overdue, people giving Xiaoshu the respect which he's been earned, really. Which he has earned, rather. I like him. I like him an awful lot. I think this guy's been good for a number of years. I liked his Jax before. I think that his Cassante has been very top tier. And I think his Renekton over time has just continually gotten more and more value. Of course, he was on RNG for a little bit. Didn't get much value from that. But yeah, I quite liked him a lot on Rare Atom. I cast a lot of his games in my first year of LPL. Good passive there on... Oh, not passive. Good dunk onto Breathe with the EQ. Single target Qs from Mordekaiser are incredibly overstated, I will say. Has himself that full Riftmaker. Blackfire in for Scout, going towards that build. He likes this build. Huh, actually I didn't know that. Like, nice little tidbit from TFC in chat. Xiaoshu was the substitute on RNG during 2021, which is when Xiaohu, his current mid lane opponent, was top lane. Scout does have flash. It's not a bad graph field there, actually. We'll help a little bit. There's a Nico behind him. Ultimate coming through from Light, and that's now going to be 3 ultimates blown from Weibo to get just the 1 flash out of Scout. Not convinced about that one, actually. If there's a fight which comes in the next minute, the ultimates being down will be more important than the flash being down. If it happens beyond that point, of course, then you start questioning the value. Plate going over towards Light. Light's gotten a lot of value out of lanes. Has his Cull stacked in as well, which means that value's come through. Chris still has no flash, and they don't see the teleport, I don't think. Teleport coming in from the Victor, who's back with the Chaos Storm, and Light, well, he doesn't have any summoners either. Dead. Yunara pushes for the plates, and he'll get smashed in return. Lulu backing off the wave collected by Tien. A little scary, actually. Giving lane farm to junglers can sometimes be really powerful. LPL was always a region which did very well at that, actually. Realizing when they can pick up the extra couple of minions particularly for the carry junglers around about 2022-23. Caster's Nightmare roster. Zeka, Zuka, Xiaoshu, Xiaohu, Xiaohao, Xiaolongbao, Xiaoshu, yeah, you know. Xiaohuangren. There's a lot of them. Xiao just means small, by the way, a little. Do players have full control of their builds in the LPL? Yes. What do you mean by that? Do you mean, like, are they like, are the players kind of meta slaves and just build what the big players do? Depends on the player. Someone like Leave, very, very intricate with his builds. Leave will always adapt his build. He's a very good player to watch for micro adaptations. Xiaobai. There was Xiaowei Zhao as well over on LMQ ages ago. Pushing towards multiple lanes now. Herald has spawned. Potential gold card for Xiaohu rather, does come through. And the cannon is not going to die. Scout does get his hands on that one. Has level 11. Also remember that farm and cannon minions for Victor do main an awful lot. They give him stacks towards his passive. To you too, Nico. Q from Sion. E missing. Xiaoshu. Interesting to see who he ults here. Does he choose to ult someone easily at all? Draw flashing forwards onto the bot lane. Flash away from Light. Chris flashing away as well. Both summoners down. Shun engaging on the other side a little bit to force Breathe out. Double summoners away. Draw just using his own flash. He's had a pretty decent series draw, actually. The Rakan was good. The Nico's had good value. Now, there's still a Poppy ult, still a Mordekaiser ult. Even if things get spooky, he can remove someone from the play. Xiaoshu, he does pull the ultimate ult coming back from Breathe. Went unstoppable, but it didn't really help him that much. TF ult coming through, and now Xiaoshu, I think he's going to be left alone as he comes out. Pulls the E back, but I think the Mordekaiser might still die. Good Poppy ult, though, to disengage. The ability to remove people from the play really coming up tops here from JDG, but will it get them out completely clean? Graffield, not bad. No one dies. A lot of summoners and ults blown. Xiaoshu's somehow surviving without using his flash. But you see the blueprint here. JDG wanting to remove people from the equation. And because it's their choice who gets removed, I think they have a slight advantage there. Xiaoshu could teleport back in. The standoff for the Herald, though, will be won by Weibo. But a good blueprint of how team fights will start to go throughout this game. What happened here? Ah, he hit his award. Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, I didn't catch that. Hit his award in the brush. And Weibo were none the wiser. Dragon now alive. Xiaoshu on the sideline does have teleport. His ultimate's a little longer than Breed's right now. See what Xiaoshu goes towards as a second item. Might be the Rylai's second. With the Giant Spell in inventory. Oh, it could be the Hexblade, actually. That also builds out of it. We'll see. Dragon likely taken by JDG, evening the score of Dragons 1-1. Both calls have been cashed in for both AD carries, so the goal difference between them is minimal. Xiaohu rather, got some value on side lanes, and of course his passive gives him gold pretty much over time, really. The more he farms, the more gold he gets. So he's got a decent lead over Scout right now. And of course got the first blood as well in mid lane. I kind of miss when first blood just gave you extra gold. It was nice to get that extra little bit. Mord gets more value when there are impactful AoE abilities on the enemy team, like Poppy ult, Galiotorn, and Camilla. Yeah, I think it's also just, he gets a lot of value when one person holds a team fight together. For instance, Sion is the one frontliner here. If you pull him out of a team fight, it can really impact things, because one, it then allows the Poppy ult to then go past the Sion, you can't ult through it. You noticed that last fight, by the way. Oh, the clean feed's just stopped for now. We're waiting to see what will happen. Yeah, we need to wait to see what happens with that. Please don't panic. We'll be back shortly. Just need to wait for the clean feed to restart. I know there are going to be messages coming. Luckily, nothing was happening particularly much at the time of it. We wait for the audio to come back. And here it comes back. Here we go. Nothing has happened during the time of that little blackout. Sometimes the clean feed has that. 3.5 minutes until the dragon comes up. Teleport into bot side from Xiaohu. Has himself Lich Bane second item, so he's actually a damaging threat now. Lich Bane does help you an awful lot. Who has better late game? That's where things get tricky, because I think typically you'd say the front to back with Lulu and Sion is very hard to beat late game, but you do have the Mordekaiser Poppy removing people, and it's not like Sivir doesn't scale on her own, even without an enchanter. I would say Weibo still probably scale better late, because JDG need to have very good removal ultimates of the Mordekaiser and the Poppy, but it's not quite as cut and dry as that. Herald in mid lane. That's not going to break turret by itself. We would need a couple of auto attacks. They have the 3 grubs, so it would likely die after that point. Draw coming in. Didn't want to commit the flash. So that's just an ult down. Good damage from Light there, stacking up the Q. Poppy ultimate being charged up and will force the Yunara away. Just wanted to keep the tower alive. It's not like there's an objective to fight over immediately. Well, I suppose there is the Atakan. Is that started over immediately? I doubt it. Vision control quite easily established from Weibo on that bot side. I think JDG are getting... I'm a little bit worried for JDG here, actually. I don't think they're winning on the Mordekaiser matchup as hard as they want. The turret should fall in top side. Feats of strength going to Weibo because of that first turret. Mid lane turret will fall as well, and JDG lose both outer turrets. Quite short succession. Weibo with this kind of lead, 3,000, good map advantage. I think they really are favored now. And I was saying, well, you know, the scaling depends on execution from JDG, really. I think Weibo are in a significant advantage now. The Neferi can be a secondary carry alongside the Yunara. Yunara typically, you think, well, you can just remove one person, you can remove the Yunara, and actually, does Weibo have the damage? But the Neferi can be quite scary. Royalize completed for Xiaoxu, worth noting now as well. And he's building towards that Hexblade as that third item with a longsword inventory. Once that ultimate available at all times, the next remove speed and attack speed after the ultimate is cast. Sion just doesn't lose lane. If you can lane versus Gwen Aatrox, he doesn't mind Mordekaiser. Mordekaiser can threaten the Sion in certain situations. Sion also really hates playing against... I mean, the Yorick is the one which he actually loses lane against. But Yorick beats every tank in lane all the time for forever. Atakan, now the object of everyone's desire. Some good vision control reclaimed by JDG. Weibo. Good power spikes to play around. BF Sword on Yunara gives them an extra bit of AD to play. Tien, good start to the game. 1,000 gold up. Not at 2 items just yet. Some good XP advantages for Weibo, actually. 2 levels in mid lane, courtesy of some individual advantage, and then also the Rod of Ages as well. TF ult popped. Good response, though, from JDG, clumping up. Making sure there's no easy pickoff. So the Destiny and the follow-up gate, no longer a threat. Atakan briefly aggroed. Xiaoxu was holding mid lane during that phase of play. Atakan started by JDG now. Their DPS is not bad on this, but I don't think it's enough to stop there being a fight. I think you have to peel off this. I know JDG want this objective to happen. I don't think you should be really going towards this too hard, though. Not a bad death ray coming through from Scouts. Top lane is coming down. Xiaoxu wanting to just remove that Sion. Good trade onto the Sion, actually. Xiaoxu doing well here. But he needs to pull the ultimate. There it is. But he's going to be left alone. JDG need to make a decision. What is going to happen in the rest of this? Teleport in from Scout to make sure that Xiaoxu is not alone. Poppy ult saves him, and now Xiaoxu has to force his flash as well. JDG don't get the objectives, but they do stop what could have been worst case scenario of Xiaoxu getting left alone. Doesn't have the Hexblade just yet for lower ult cooldown. Not a bad angle from him. Tried to stop... I just punched the microphone. Well, Sam not here. Well, I have to try that. Dragon has spawned, of course, as we saw during that too. But now with no Mordekaiser ultimate, Breathe does have his ult too. I don't think JDG can fight this. I think Weibo winning out the battle of attrition. Get the dragon. Atakan's still alive. Shen, need to be a little careful there, buddy. Weibo, slow gameplay working for them. Their fast gameplay wasn't working nearly as well. Or how's that flash if things were positioned for a big engage? Quite hard to engage into, you know, someone being defended by Lulu. And then, of course, the W from Neferi makes it harder to land and engage onto the dog, too. Atakan's still available. Scout used that teleport midway through that last fight. Has Seekers. Has the Blighting Jewel for some percent penetration. I don't think Scout's had a bad series. The last couple have been quite poor, but this one's been pretty fine. E missing from Xiaoshu. The caster on Mike violence must stop. Well, what if I want the violence? Maybe I need this. It's my enrichment time. Yeah. Game slows down again. Significant advantage for Weibo, as we're saying, both now in objectives and in gold. 3 items for Xiao Hu, who has rapid fire cannon. That is the point where TF really starts to break open the game. Lich Bane gives you the damage. Rapid fire cannon gives you the utility and the consistency of pick potential. Light not at the Infinity Edge just yet. Pei is waiting for that too. Well, Sivir can be a scaling threat towards Weibo. You need to be very careful about that. He's not going towards the Lord Dominus Regards or a Mortal Reminder just yet. I don't think he wants to deal with the Scion quite yet. Xiaoshu's job is basically remove the Scion from the fight and get value. Atachan's still available, of course. Xiaohu pushing in bot lane very heavily. Breathe was helping him by standing in bot river. JDG yet to get a single tower. That's not a good stat for them. The full outer ring has been destroyed on JDG's side of the map. JDG would love some territory. Down almost 5,000 gold. Their engage is hard to land, I suppose, when they have to push beyond their own vision. Weibo have good disengage. Quite easy for them to avoid some bits of engage. When the JDG hit the next big items? Because they need Infinity Edge on Pays, probably. Perhaps then Sivir can do some ungodly things. Xiaoshu, of course, waiting for his own Hexplate, as we've been talking about there too. Strong item right now, very strong. Weibo need to play this faster. They get hard outscaled. No, I don't think it's hard outscaled. I think the scaling is based on JDG's execution. And they do have an enchanter for the Yunara, so I think that does really impact things. And now they've just got the Infinity Edge onto that Yunara too. I think if he goes hyper late game, yeah, I think it's get a bit tricky. Lulu scaling is just something else, right? I don't think the scaling issue is... It's not clean cut. Upgraded boots coming in from most of Weibo now too. Everyone but Light, in fact. Ooh, Light going for the burst forwards. That's the Infinity Edge! And the Dark of Ruin. Will not quite finish the kill. A heal from Draw. Pei is not using that flash, but that is the scariness of the 3-item Yunara. Does that chunk open up anything for Weibo around the Atachan? Baron is alive too. No, they don't go towards it. Weibo not quickly moving towards objectives. I am a little bit worried for them, actually. You know, there were some questions. You know, does Weibo get outscaled? Do they need to push the game? Well, no, not really. But also, just letting the game go slow makes things a bit of a worry. Baron now started by Shun. Atachan on the other side. Weibo would have to move up from Atachan very quickly. They pull off the objective, and the Baron is started truly. Say that. Shun's the only one damaging right now. Breathe stops that Q, ults out, and is pulled back in. That's a very low HP draw. The Xiaoshu, does he pull Breathe into the ult now? No, not quite just yet. Good chunk there from Weibo across most of JDG. Draw blowing that flash is an important tool down. Turret finally falls in favor of JDG. Pays will push out that wave here now too. Giving them some, I suppose, extra vision in that top side. Light stayed in mid lane. Shun left alone here. Breathe taking some damage, but Xiao Hu has the fire cannon. Gold card has to flash to, because otherwise the Q would have come through. TM might just ult him now. I think they might see an ult kill here. Xiao Hu, where is he in all of this? Where's the next gold card? There was an ult on towards Scout at the top here, and the E lands. Flash away from Light. Xiao Shu does have his own ultimate redemption, giving some healing back. No critical damage dealt so far, but Weibo coming out just the better of it in terms of HP bars. Losing the flash on Light is a problem. Xiao Shu has himself the Hex Plate now. Very threatening. Again, the gold lead has stayed relatively stable, still around 5,000. This has been a chess match more than a League of Legends game. An extra dragon taken from Weibo, but JDG, they can afford to give one more over. The Atacant is still alive. The Baron is too. Void Staff in for Scout. Pretty high damage build from him. Smite away by Tien onto the blue buff. Gives his whole team that buff. No third item from Pays just yet. That is a problem. He really needs that. Light on the other side. Skipped his boots. So we could get to that item quicker. Pays really does need to get towards that third item. If you get that Infinity Edge, perhaps you can shred through with the Ricochet and get the damage you need. There it is. The Infinity Edge coming through. 2.5 thousand gold in mid lane. But at the end of the day, Victor is still Victor, and he's gone for a higher damage build. If he stays alive, has Seekers, has Flash, still going to be doing good damage. Arguably does more damage than the Rod of Ages Liadri's build. Even though he's 2,000 gold down. LCK fights more than this. This series has been quite low action. It's quite strange to think about that. Breathe. How much damage can he do? Xiaoshu not here to remove the front line just yet. Draw. Proto bolting back. Doesn't have the flash to land the big engage. Gold card locked in, but not thrown. Good damage, though, just from random poke. Tien trying to land that as well. Xiaoshu in the bush. Remember, can pull someone out of the play. Xiaoshu rather. Oh, it's going to be really annoying for me. Where does that gold card go? Goes on to the Victor. No Baron aggroed onto him. Still, you see the chunk coming through. Poke a little bit better for Weibo than it is for JDG right now. Gold card onto Xiaoshu. These gold cards are really scary. Xiaoshu is left alone now, and the gold card is onto him. It's a dead Mordekaiser. Xiaohu, with the extra gold cards being so threatened, now he has the flank angle. There's nothing to remove Breathe from the play. Where is the Poppy ultimate? It goes nowhere because the Fury presses W. Pays, getting damage down, but I don't think he'll be able to survive, and indeed he won't. Scout, the damage is not enough as Weibo slow roll the game into their first likely victory now in this series. Teleport through to the mid lane. And Weibo, play it slow, play it steady. The fast gameplay not working out earlier in this series. The slow gameplay working out so much better. And we will see a fourth game in the series. Weibo not to get swept in this one. As game 3 goes the way of Weibo. JDG couldn't make the removal composition work. The Mordekaiser Poppy couldn't quite punt people out at the right timing. And they will not get themselves their own lead 3-0. Game 4, here we come. Zedel is way lower cooldown, so trading ults is a win for Zed. Yeah, but if that happens in a team fight, you don't care about the cooldown. Level 1 shenanigans, a possibility. JDG on vision. Do they know they're on vision? Perhaps not. Perhaps not. Bit of chunk on both sides, but no summoners blown. No Q left for Crisp there. They're still on vision. I'm not sure they know about this. Guys, I know you ought to walk in with something like the Braum into the Swain E. You can start E quite easily, but let's not throw ourselves into death here. Breathe coming round. Xiaohu on the side. Does he start with a Q or the W? Draw, walking forward, trying to proc that Braum passive. Getting it onto Xiaohu, who has to flash. Early flash for that. How much damage can they do here to get the first blood? Xiaohu goes down, killed by Shun on his Kindred. One of his best champions of all time. Good damage back, Tien. Another Razor Shuriken into the back, but the damage has been done. On stack there for Scout and his passive too, actually. Xiaohu, no teleport, no flash. Not even sure what he started at his abilities, actually. First game of Swain for Scout. First game of Udyr for Xiaoshu on Udyr. This split. Heal used. Early level 2 hit by Pays. And he's just confidently 1v2ing. Of course, Draw had to back late as well. So solo XP for Pays. Doing well, actually, to blow the barrier there to give himself extra Vigilance passive. Level 2 now hit for Crisp, not for Light, interestingly. How intriguing. Xiaoxu level 2 early up there as well. Got a part of that assist. Flash forwards, of course, to confirm the kill onto Xiaoxu. The Xiao on Xiao violence. Anyway, what the hell, Swain versus Lissandra? The last time we saw that Swain was a little earlier in the year. RNG versus IG. I do remember that, actually. I remember that. And actually, Rookie did really well on the pick. I think that was game 2 or game 3 of that series. I remember it, actually. Because game 1 was not great from IG, and then they played that and completely smashed him. This is our Season 8, Season 9 Season 9 mid lane matchup, wasn't it? We had like, Silas, Lissandra, and stuff like that all the time, and a bit of Swain popping out of the place, too. Shun. No mark on that top scuttle. Didn't want to wait for it either, interestingly, because sometimes you do wait until the bot scuttle's been killed, and then you get the mark on the top side. But Shun just goes, look, I'm not going to slow down my farming enough for this. Going to give up that first mark. End of the day, Kindred needs marks and items. This Lucian getting a lot of solo XP. Braum losing out a lot on that on the other side, though. Good little mark onto Scout there. Onto Xiaohu from Scout there. Tien waiting for Shun. Double Shuriken trade will really hurt here. Ah, but misses all of them, and Shun walks at him. Swain now walking over to Shun, making sure he's hopping around in that W for the lower cooldown. Scout, 10 CS lead in the mid lane, will go down to about 5. With the wave crashing in, but Xiaohu not having the nicest time of things. Breathe, caught out on top side, has flash, so realistically, unless the Q lands, which it does, would have thought it was only going to be that, perhaps I underestimated it. Pays one last auto, won't be enough. Tower shots taken, but pays no more abilities. Breathe. Lives at the cost of his summoner. I think this was a terrible Kindred early rotation. I don't know. I think that having a Kindred ult early for a Swain to just sit in and be unkillable is really, really, really bad for the side of Weibo. They need to one-shot the Kindred in almost every fight, otherwise everyone else becomes an issue. You know, you save your Braum ult and the Swain pop until the ult's just about to time out. That's rough after that wave collected by Pays here on the top side. Interesting that Pays is choosing to let the minions damage the tower. Taking about half a plate there. Wanting the wave to stay here for as long as possible so it can slow push over to the other side. Holding the wave a little close towards their tower. Kindred coming up now. Ooh, they could go for a big play here. If they can get the Braum Bastard down, that is very, very scary. Now, Chris does have both summoners. Will he be able to survive even with both? The magical journey not taken. Missed his boarding time for that flight. Chris goes down for the second kill of the game. And still no marks for Shun, by the way. Struggled to get any so far. And 2 kills now after Shun, even though no marks have been claimed. Ooh. Barrier popped by Light, although the shots went elsewhere, actually. Braum passive up here again, and Shun's just walking up again. Braum passive. Once more, there's a Swain W, and Pays flashes forwards. A culling to finish off the trade. Turret shot will not be enough to threaten Shun. Scout, great roam in the W, the vision of Empire, helping secure the kill as Light and Crisp. The duo lane, which started the year together, well, started last year together, rejoined this year after Chris came back from top esports. Getting blasted in this early game. Pays and draw. I am not gonna lie, folks. I didn't have a lot of belief in draw. I thought this guy was pretty mid. But this series has been good from him. I liked his Rakan earlier. Thought his Lulu was pretty decent too, and now we see him on the Braum. You know what? Good value from him and Pays. Pays sidestepping that W. Light misuse of the barrier, really. Thought the extra double tap would come in. Didn't see where the shot was going. And then they just left alone. No one's here to defend them. Just getting brutally out-traded. Brutally out-traded. No one in position to do much. And clear love there. And the coaching staff booed for JDG. Happy with that 2v2. Dragon is alive. Grubs are alive too. Actually, Draw might need to W over the wall. Not going to get rooted there. Tien. Ooh, is spotted. Shen. A little bit of damage onto him. Has his ult to trade for Tien's. If it does go really nasty. Shen now has one singular mark, by the way. No grubs taken just yet. Often very often taken on spawn, but not here. Good vision control from Weibo on the bot side of the map. Shun's recall got himself all of the components for Kraken Slayer. It's a good Kraken Slayer game, actually, on the whole. There's no hyper tank you need to kill. This is an okay Kraken Slayer into... I wonder if there should be a Kraken Slayer into Triforce game, because the extra HP from Triforce makes it so much easier for you to live through the Lysandra craziness. Also think Draw should think about maybe going Mikhail's for Shun. Redemption, very powerful. Likely to go that first, but we shall see. So, I think Shun should go Kraken Slayer, Triforce, and then a Merc Treads as well. Hope that you get the feats of strength and get the empowered Merc Treads. Oof. Nice trade from Scout. Every time you land that pull, it does give you the extra bit of HP from your stacks as well. Landing the W as well. Weibo's struggling to get control. As fast as this Zed has been at clearing, hasn't really provided that much value. Scout, now he could be in a bit of trouble here. Has a little bit of HP. He's walked up too far, though. Flashes, and it won't matter. Bad flash from Scout. Doesn't bother popping the ultimate. The ultimate might have helped with a bit of regen, but no, not here. Good flash from Xiaohu. First kill goes towards Tien. Scout should have just died there, really. I mean, the reaction timing wasn't bad. It's just the wrong reaction, you know? Eclipse now brought up with that kill for Tien. First item secured for him. Is that a mark on that boss skull? It is. Okay, so that's going to be 2 marks now for Shun. There was one on Gromp. Gromp was killed, went over towards the Scuttle Crab. So 2 for Shun. Of course, reminder that it's 4, then 7, then 10 for your range increases. So 4, then every 3 after that. $1,000 gold for JDG, but it's early into the game, so that does matter a significant amount, to be honest. Rylai's first for Scout. I love to see the Rylai's first. I think Rylai's is Swain's most broken item, by far. Glad to see more people go towards it. We did see people try Blackfire and Leandries, and realistically, what you're trying to do is catch people in the meat grinder. Weibo have a short-ranged team. Even the Lyssandra's fairly short-ranged. If they ever get tagged by that Rylai's, they're likely going to stay tagged by that until the end of the fight, or Swain is dead. Dragon taken by JDG, easy take for them. There's a mark on the Gromp, but Shun can't really go over there safely. 3 grubs to JDG, first Dragon, objective gameplay going well for them. Pays at a scary point of power as well with the first item. 3 grubs helps him tunk down that tower a little bit more. DOT applied to it. Weibo need to find a way to break JDG's control of this game. There is a Kindred walking around at mega HP, and Shun does have a Ruby Crystal inventory, so I think that will be a Triforce coming through next. I think you might even see Triforce into QSS, you know, just to make sure that he really doesn't get gunned down by the Lysandra ultimate. Ooh, Culling nasty onto Light, takes him down to about 2/3 HP. Number of members on top side. Xiaoxu needs to be fairly careful. And no flash on Xiaoxu. Sorry, Xiaohu. Xiaohu. It's going to do my head in, I tell you. Actually, just collecting this wave here, making sure that there's no extra bonus for Weibo. The full plate. I'm not sure who got the gold from that plate, if anyone did, actually. Xiaoxu misses the cannon. JDG been missing a couple of them over this series. Not noticed a couple over time. Shun sweeping through bot side, pushing in towards bot side tower. 3 grubs on Scout makes it much easier for him to get value out of this. Xiaoshu, okay. Lissandra Z, it is a scary combo. And it will be a quick kill for Tien. And Bard, actually. Bard ends up picking up that kill. Maybe not where you want that goal to go. Will it lead to actually the first turret, though? No. So Xiaohu gets another kill. Good participation. Setting up with his ult. Lissandra Z was a combo before, you know, in the past. Gun down the first target, lock him up, and then get the Lissandra passive rolling. The first turret to the side of JDG. Good gold to the side of Scout and Pays, who shared a lot of the plates there. And they get the feats of strength. Mark for Shun has 3 now. Marked Tien, worth noting. Scout going from one side of the map to the other. 800 gold advantage over Xiaohu. Has the 2 assists himself. There's a teleport behind him coming from Ambassador. Scout doesn't have flash just yet. He takes down a play. He's going to die for this one, you have to feel. Does he pop the ultimate? Yes, he does. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, though. He's healing a fair amount. Credit to him. He can run pretty well. The Rilo is really helping, actually, forcing the flash from Breathe. Scout will die, but forces the extra summoner out. JDG, do they have an answer anywhere else on the map? Hayes was waiting to see if he can jump over the wall, get some culling damage down. Not able to do so. Weibo playing fairly well, actually, around the CC and the chase down potential of their solo laners. That being said, they are still behind 1,500 gold. But JDG getting more damage and more gold from the towers. Weibo getting more the actual, I suppose, the kill value over the last minute or two. Shun building up towards his likely Triforce. Upgraded boots available for JDG from the feats of strength. That could be really important, given how much Weibo really do want to get that first kill in a fight. The upgraded Merc Treads, the upgraded armor shoes as well. Make a lot of value. They do get a lot of value with that extra shield onto the burst combo that comes towards them. Herald started up. Weibo yet to show us anything more than split picks. They can get the single kills pretty well, but what about the other stuff out of that? Oh dear. Scout. Oh, he's not had an easy time, has he? Tien will flash. Oh, there's a flash from Shun. Lamb's Respite. Helping save Scout. It takes a flash from Shun and from Scout, but finally Scout will live through an assassination attempt on the side lane. He'll recall. Herald was taken by JDG. Vision over the wall. Now, Scout does need to be a little careful here. There is a chance that he could still die here. Teammates will protect him as he goes towards the tower, though. The Scout will clear the wave safely. JDG, just the 1 turret for them so far, but the Herald will help them take another if they find a good angle for it. Ah, there's a mark on the... Hang on a second, there's a mark on the Scuttle Crab on bot side. How's that happened? Perhaps it's just one of the few camps that were alive? If Shun can get this, he gets himself an easy 4th mark. I don't think that Weibo would have expected that one at all. If you can get the smite down on this and he has it available, they want to burst it. There you go, 4 marks for Shun. Great range increase for him, especially against the low range composition of Weibo. If they don't cleanly catch the Kindred, Kindred can do a lot of work. Dragon started. Shun has his smite up, had the 2nd stack of that available. Low HP will be taken by Weibo. First one for them taken in this game. 1-1, we have a Hextech Rift. So, 4th mark traded for Dragon, basically. I don't think they mind that. 4th mark for Kindred is really, really nice. Takeaway of the grubs there as well. Shun very quickly taking that one away. Shun, a player who came onto JDG at the start of the year to... I don't know. Mixed outcome, really. Or mixed response, I suppose. Because, like, damn, he's left BLG. But also, actually, JDG picking up Scout and Shun. What could they do? Hang on. Xiaohu. Safely going to get out there with a path over the wall. Frozen path. With this team of JDG, I don't think they've matched the expectations set for them. They do have this playoffs to see if they can finally ramp up into this year's split. So it's IG are in a similar situation too with their super team they've built. Trade of side lanes. JDG have the 3 grubs. That makes it much easier for them. A mark onto the Krugs. That'll be mark 5 for Shun. Extra attack speed on the Q. Percent HP damage on the W. And execute on the E. Toad on the other side from Breathe. Slower to kill it. Wants to make more of his wave die to the tower. JDG doing a great job of pushing up vision into the enemy jungle now. Scout died a lot on side lanes. This split, actually, is one of the easiest ways to beat JDG is attack Scout. He'll probably die on a side lane. Damage onto Tien. No objectives up just yet. Atacon in a minute and a half. Jin W lands onto the Brawn, but since the shield doesn't matter that much, Control Ward will spot out the members there. They'll spot the wall which they were stood on. Fight for that vision control a little bit more. Ooh, Xiaohu using the Protobell to get out there. Not sure if his E was on cooldown. I'm pretty sure it was available. A little bit of poke. Lissandra with the Protobell gives them some extra range on targets. The E just missing from Scout there. We were saying even in Champion Select how important that Swain E can be for random pick potential. Triforce completed for Shun. I really want to see him to go towards a... Oh, hang on. That's a good W there with a Rylai's on it too. Forcing a flash from Crisp. The Shadow from Tien not too bad from him in terms of damage coming through. This should open up the mid lane turret though. Xiaohu, I don't think he goes for an engage here. No, he doesn't. There's a mark put onto Tien as he ults forwards and tries to get something back. Can he escape though? I'm not so sure. Has no flash. He'll survive with the redemption. Not nearly as much to be said about Crisp, who's gone down. JDG playing around there. Swain, Kindred. On the other side, the Lissandra Z. 2 very different mid-jungle 2v2s as Sam's come in to spot the game. Has gone to a game 4. Yeah, on the whole though, JDG getting the better of the early game. 5 marks for Shun. He's doing quite well in that regard. Gone towards the Triforce second one for once instead of something like the goddamn Collector. Kept that extra HP in, your boy. Perhaps against that Lissandra. The 3 grubs helping him do this as well. So nasty. Getting jumped on with the extra follow-up of the culling and the Vision of Empire. Tien lucky to make it out alive. Atacon now spawning. And perhaps this game changes its tune around there.
Do you want me to tag in and join you again, mate? Or are you feeling pretty happy
I don't want to shift the chairs around, really.
Super fair.
It's all good. You enjoy your own G2 casting over on the other side. Sam's got another stream going on right now. I know, crazy. We can actually cast different things. Works like
Finished G2 with a win.
Damn, very good stuff. Very good stuff. Atacon being set up for... Ah, they don't spot the ward just in the back of the Baron pit there. Atacon started up. Showing good single target damage now onto stuff like the Atacon. Stepping towards it. Bardot used to check. Make Shun go invulnerable. Oh, Brando. Not Brando. Romal used not so much avail. I don't know if this Atacon's going down quite quickly enough. Perhaps it is. Tien could potentially shadow in for a smite. It's going into 3k. 2k coming down. And the smite goes the way of the Kindred. Here comes the Swain and things get messy. Lucian is dead already. Says a numbers advantage, but the Swain in the Kindred ult is causing issues. Xiaoshu trying to chase forwards. The Jin is alive. How much can Scout do? He is trying to keep himself alive. The Rylai's burning. The Swain is just so hard to deal with. So hard to escape. Scout flashing forwards, and that is the danger of the Lissandra into this matchup. You can't always close them down. Scout counterpicking, and with an 8,000 damage fight, the rest of his team will die. The rest of the team will die. It's a 4 for 3, but with the Atacon going over, JDG walk away with 37 petals to 5. JDG very much walking away okay from that trade. This is the issue with the Kindred with the Swain. It's a good pick onto Pays. Pays dies immediately. It's a very, very nice start to the fight from Weibo, even though they lose the objective. Then things get messy. Lamb's Respite, Swain going on to everyone. Even without an AD carry, Scout can carry this fight. This was always the danger. You think, okay, well, maybe you can force out the Kindred ult easily. Well, if Swain is stood inside it, that is no longer a trade you're willing to take. You're a low-range comp. If you have to close the distance and Scout gets onto you, yeah, you're dead. Dragon now taken by JDG. 2-level advantage in the jungle. I suppose it's level, really, but as it stands right now. Those the petals doing so much work. Almost a full level for JDG across the board, besides top lane, mid lane, inner turret taken, bot lane, inner turret falling soon as well. Baron hasn't spawned yet, so that's why they don't have that to push in with. This could be the end of playoffs for Weibo. Wouldn't be the end of year. If they lose this series, they will go into 6th in regionals. They will start from the lowest rung on the regional ladder and have to fight through 2 best-of-5s to get to Worlds. Tian trying to take a blue buff away on the other side. Shun at 6 marks. If he gets another one, he'll get the 2nd range increase. And, of course, each stat gives you extra bonus stats as well, as we highlighted earlier. I think Shun is going towards a collector next, by the way. Not sure. Mathematically, just go for the Lord Dams. It's just a better item later into the game, mathematically speaking. Xiaoxu walking over vision. Tian will recall. Upgraded boots sure to come through from JDG soon as well. Defensive boots across the board. Couple of Tabby, couple of Merc Treads. Mikhail's first for Joy wasn't that redemption. We did call about that being quite powerful here. It's very nice here. Very, very nice for the side of JDG. Not needing to have their own cleanses now. Good vision control from JDG across the map. Weibo struggling to keep up in that department. Blue buff seal from Shun. What do Weibo do at this point? Hope they can find someone overextended. Breathe on the Ambessa. Maybe they can make the difference. Ambessa is a hella good scaling champion. Mark 7 for Shun as he steals the Raptor camp. 2nd range increase up there. It's 50 then 25 after, so they have an extra 75 range. So they're 575 range now, I believe. Oh no, what's their range based? Is it 520 or 500? It's pretty low on the whole. Anyway, getting up there now. Oh, Tian getting decent damage onto Pei's out of Fog of War. Scary, that. Always scary is Lucian, where you try to dash away from damage. You press your E button and still take the damage, and then you're down your escape, and you're still low HP. That's the scary bit. Baron spawning now. No Atakan to throw around anymore from JDG. LPL does love doing a bit of that, but it's been clean take from JDG in this one. Scout has Liandry's and Rylai's, and looks like they're going towards a Blackfire Torch as well, which means they'll have the double burn at that point, and Jesus Christ, that's going to be scary. Even Xiaoxi's not doing bad on the tank front. Uda with Fimbulwinter is very, very strong. Not as strong as a Scion or a Cassante, or I suppose the Ornn as well. Hang on a second, not bad on Turo. Self Mikhail's to make sure he can double you out to safety. Did have Exhaust and Flash available, doesn't have to use either. Perhaps an angle for Weibo now that they know that the Mikhail's is down for the next 2 minutes or so. Three items for Breathe. Is that enough? Maybe we get some Ambessa shenanigans. Maybe. I think it's becoming a bit of a slimmer shot for Weibo, though. I think that JDG get very hard to deal with as the game goes on. Now, the Jhin can do bits and pieces of damage. There's no... So the hyper tanks on the other side. I mean, Uda is not a hyper tank. He's a tank. He's not a hyper tank. Weibo are going to really struggle to get damage down in the right places at the right time. Head-to-head, JDG versus Weibo. It's 9-8 all-time to Weibo in terms of series. 24-24 in games all-time. These two teams really do have a close head-to-head. This year's been strange for both teams. Both have fallen from glory a little bit. I didn't know Swain could be this strong into low-range compositions in a good lane matchup. Swain is disgusting. So disgusting. Can pin people in place with the Kindred. Can use the Kindred ultimate to do nasty things. Scout, much better series than the last ones he's had in playoffs. He's had some... Hang on a second. Brambessa. I don't know if they know... Everyone else is coming up there. They're going onto the Swain. Now Shun is in range. Disengage coming through from Weibo. Tian, does he have to hop to his shadow? The E coming forward. Jesus, damage coming from Shun. Did not that damage coming back from Light, though. Weibo, do they think they can get something better after this point? There's a catch onto Scout in the front line. He doesn't have ult now. And Shun is out of the picture. Where is the Kindred ultimate? Shun dies! Shun dies! Shun has flashed and ulted. Big mistake. Pei's having to carry the fight. Can he get it? No. Weibo threading the needle and punishing Shun's massive misplay. Does not flash. Hops forward and dies instead. Oh, Shun. What a mistake to make on your iconic champion. Oh, man. What a misplay. Ends up being a 3 for 2. Xiaohu and Crisp going down for Shun. Pays and draw. Massive mistake as Shun does not flash in position to use his ultimate. Dragon is alive and Weibo will be able to take that for free. What a mistake from Shun. The initial pick onto Scout is disengaged from because they realize, oh god, everyone's around the corner. But what happens is Scout ends up losing his ultimates. And when the Swain ult is down, you feel a lot more healthy then. As Weibo, great damage from Light. Shun should not have gone that far forwards. The Bard ult to separate out Scout again. Have flash, shows not to flash it. That was probably a mistake. And then this is just unforgivable from Shun. Doesn't spot the Zed over the wall, and he hops into the Shuriken, and he dies. He hops into the Shuriken over the wall and dies. Perhaps just flash an ult there. Or ult early. He didn't see the Shuriken coming. Perhaps not a mistake from him. Perhaps just Tien, a great prediction. Now Baron's being started. They have the Kindred ult. The flex around this too. Zed's not going to be here in time, I don't think. Bard ult will buy some time, though. What is going to be the plan? Breathe over the wall. Does it go down to low HP? Where is the smite? Where is it coming in? Zed steals it! Zed steals it! The smite lands true from Tien. There's a mess afterwards. The fight going the way of JDG, though. 2 dead from JDG, but their damage is alive. 2 alive from Weibo. Can they escape? Lights. Can he get all the way? Shun trying to hop forwards. Hop, skip. Can he get over the wall? A Weibo Baron steal. Shun jumping forwards potentially again. Good Bard steal there too. Not bad damage from Light, but can they save the game? The inhibitor might fall here. I think JDG might try and end the game with these 3. Scout has ultimate. Jingle being loaded up here. Does Scout have a W to throw it onto him? Scout can... Oh, that's a problem. The clan's coming through. Hopping forwards. Decent damage onto Pays and onto Shun. Using the ultimate to keep the minions alive. They can keep one Nexus turret in. There's a teleport coming through as well. JDG wants the end of this series. Light. Is he bright enough? No. Scout puts the Zhonya's on. The Nexus will fall. And despite the heroics, Weibo will lose 3-1. JDG